Welcome back and happy, freaky, funky, fresh, fantastic Friday. Yeah, baby. It is August 18th, 8:47 in the morning. We are back and we are ready to attack. And guess what? Hey, guys, you can see me now. Dude, it was so weird the last couple of days just not having the webcam up. It just seemed odd. I don't know. I want you to see my beautiful face and just get all, oh my gosh, what a handsome young man there. What a handsome dude. We're going to make some money today, guys. We're going to crush it. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to end the week strong and profitable. So you guys know the drill. Before we dive into it, I need everybody inside the chat hitting me with a big ol' Alpha Day Trading. Good morning and happy Friday. Go ahead and drop those good mornings. And if you don't, guess what Josh is going to do? He's going to ban everybody inside the chat today. So get with it. Drop me with a big old good morning. And then everybody over on YouTube, what's up for Free Stream Friday? We got Andrew over on the tube ready to rock and roll. Mario, JB, Justin, what's up, everybody? Prod Cycle, what's up, dude? Good morning. How we all doing, guys? And if you guys are on YouTube and you want to see my charts and you want to see the screens and get the breakdowns and trade with us live today for Free Stream Friday, come on over to YouTube. Link is in the bio here on TikTok, or just go to YouTube, type in Alpha Day Trading. You'll find our channel. Join the live session. You guys are all set, ready to rock and roll. Joey's over there holding it down. Scooter Tips, what's up? Good morning. Benjamin, what's going on? So we had to do an update last night to get that functionality built back into the system because you guys were not able to actually update your username. So as we updated that functionality, it wiped everything back to default. So what you guys need to do is go back into your account dashboard, right? So just go to the top right-hand corner of the platform, go to your account settings, scroll down and just go ahead and rechange your chat room nickname. Go ahead and hit save profile. And then when you come back, your name will be updated. So you guys are all set. But yes, we did an update and that's why. Yes, you guys are good. So get those usernames changed. And yeah, you guys are all set, ready to rock and roll. So again, good morning, traders. Welcome back. I hope you guys are excited to be here because I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have an amazing day in the markets. Just crush it and crush it. And lock in some profits, baby. I'm excited for today. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into the SPY. We'll start with the SPY because penny stocks are boring and all the opportunities in the broader market, guys. We're looking at the SPY, stocks like Amazon, Nvidia, Boeing, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. I mean, we got some great setups today, guys. And I'm really, really excited to see what we have. So let's just break it down very quickly, but very thoroughly, and just get you guys completely prepared as far as where can we see the SPY go today. So overhead resistance is between 435.75 to 436.29. That is your overhead zone of resistance here on the SPY. Your lower zone of support is between 431.20 and 431.73. So these are going to be your two nearest zones of resistance and support. Your lower zone of support today on the SPY, if we do continue to drop, is actually all the way down between 425.84 and 426.14. So at any point in time, we see this zone of support fail to hold, we do have potential all the way down to this lower zone of support, which again is between 425.84 and 426.14. So there's a lot of downside potential once again today here on the SPY, especially if we crack this initial zone right here between 431.20 and 431.73. So that's going to be a key level of support that you guys need to be paying close attention to, right? So if the SPY opens, right, and we see it come on down into that zone of support, if we hold, you could take a long, but I really want to stress that your bounces are getting weaker and weaker and weaker this week, right? So like every time we come down and have a bounce, right? Like here we have a decent little pop and a decent bounce on Tuesday before rolling on over. Here on Wednesday, we had a nice little bounce, not too shabby. We overall moved lower. Yesterday, we saw that our bounce got a lot weaker before we rolled on over, and we were hitting a lot of key levels of support yesterday. We tried the pop, we tried the bounce, but sellers are in control. We are driving the markets down. So, one thing that I really, really want to stress, one of two things I want to stress. Number one, bears are clearly in control. There's a lot of selling momentum to the downside. Buyers have completely taken a step back, and we can see that just over the past couple of days, right? At least the last few days, where our bounces are weaker and weaker and weaker. And we see that sellers are stepping out, or I'm sorry, buyers are stepping out, stepping back. We have sellers stepping in. We can clearly see market sentiment is bearish, right? Bears are in control. There's a lot of selling momentum to the downside. Number one, right? We want to trade with the trend. The trend is your friend. We want to trade on the right side of this momentum, right? The last thing that we want to do is try to catch the SPY long today, knowing that, especially yesterday, we came down to some very key levels of support. We tried the bounce, but buyers couldn't regain control. Sellers stepped right back in and drove the market even lower with ease. So today, I'm going to be very, very cautious on trading to the long side across the board. I'm going to be very cautious unless I see a strong reason to be playing the market long, right? That strong reason could be we have $2.2 trillion of stock options expiring today. That's going to bring in a lot of volatility, right? But we don't know if we're going to see some great movement to the upside or if we're going to continue to see the market dump, fade, and fall. But if we ever see a strong indication that the market is squeezing and ripping to the upside and we should be trading the market long, we will then adapt and adjust and trade the market long if that's what we see. But right now, what's the data and the information we have in front of us, right? The market has been extremely weak the past 3 days, right? You take a look at the daily, right? The last 3 days of us dropping. Every day we've dropped just a little bit more than the previous day. And every day we do see a slight uptick in selling volume. So we have increased selling volume to the downside. Market sentiment is bearish. We can clearly see that buyers are just stepping out of the market and sellers are in control. So that's the information and the data that we have in front of us, right? What's that second piece of data and information we have? That $2.2 trillion of stock options are expiring today. So that's going to bring in a lot of volatility on top of this initial volatility we already have to the downside. We could see another big time drop today. And so that's where we're at right now. That's the data that we have in front of us. So right now, I want to be really, really cautious with trading anything long today, right? If we come down into a support level, okay, and it looks like we're going to bounce, I'm going to sit back and look to see if it's a strong bounce. Gauge the strength of the bounce. If we notice it's a strong bounce and we're more or less setting up for a push, then at that point in time, we'll make the decision to possibly jump into the long side. But I first want to see, even if we bounce today, and if we do bounce, is it a strong bounce? Are buyers stepping back in today? Because what we could see is the market come on down into the support level, look like it's going to bounce. Let's say you jump long too early and it's a weak bounce and we go bloop, straight down. You're taking in a necessary loss. I would rather wait to see the first bounce and gauge how strong that bounce is and then make the decision. Doesn't make sense to get to the long side today, right? Or if we come down and have a weak bounce and we start to dump, I'm already on the bearish side. I already know that I want to be shorting the market because, again, the market is gaining strength to the downside. So again, if we come down to that lower level of support and we ever fall below it and hold below it as resistance, that's going to be an area where I really want to get short on the SPY down towards around like 426. All right. But like I said, at any point in time, we see a strong bounce and it looks like buyers are stepping back in and regaining control. And we see like, hey, it makes sense to play the market long. We'll play the market long at that point in time, but we have to sit back and wait to actually see that and validate itself. So right now, I'm just looking for weak bounces to get short for the next leg down. And so one of two things are going to happen here with the SPY out of the gate, right? Number one, we're going to come on down into this support level and it's going to do something. It's going to make a decision. It's going to give us opportunity to play it long, possibly, or we're going to fall right below this level and then we can get short for the next leg down. Or we can see the SPY open and just have a very weak grind back up into this overhead level of resistance, right? And this overhead level of resistance is between 435.75 and 436.29. So if we do see the SPY open on up and have a very weak bounce, weak grind into this overhead level of resistance, and we fail to push above it and fail to break higher, I would look to get short off that level down into this lower zone of support. And that lower zone of support's between that 421.20 and 431.73. All right, guys. So again, it just really depends on where the SPY goes at the start of the day, right? We're going to be opening right in the middle of support and resistance, right? We're opening right in the middle of this key resistance level and this key support level. What does this mean? That's a no touch zone. That's a no go zone. We don't know where the market's going to go. We don't know if the SPY is going to drop to support first or rip on up into resistance first. We have no idea. We just have to wait for the SPY to open and make a decision. If it pushes on up into this level of resistance and we top out and roll on over, that's going to be confirmation to get short. If we dump on off into the support level and for some reason we see buyers stepping back in and it's a strong bounce and it looks like we're going to see an intraday reversal, off that lower level of support, well, guess what? We'll simply look to trade calls at that point in time if it makes sense. But at the start of the day, you're hands off, right? You're sitting right in the middle of key support and key resistance. There's no reason to touch the SPY when we open on up, right? If we come into resistance, we top out, we get short. Come down into support, we hold, we see strength, we get long. We come down to support, we crack it and stay below it, right? We go ahead and play the market short because clearly that's the direction the market still wants to go. Okay. And there's a lot of potential to the downside, just like there's a lot of potential to the long side. But before we get long, there has to be a solid reason to even consider getting long in the first place. Okay, guys. So those are going to be your main levels to be on watch with the SPY today. And like I said, at the start of the day, you're hands off. You're waiting for the market to come to you, provide you with an opportunity, present a setup, build your plan, get prepared, and then go from there, guys. All right. So the SPY, again, a lot of my focus today is going to be with the SPY. The SPY is moving very clean. There's a lot of great opportunity, and we have some big moves, couple dollar drops pretty quickly. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity today with the SPY alone, guys. So the SPY has a lot of my focus. Instead of me flipping back and forth between 5 or 10 stocks, I know, and I'm pretty confident that I can just put all of my focus here today on the SPY, most likely identify a few amazing setups, and then just trade the SPY and lock in some great profits, right? I don't need to be looking at stocks like Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple. Now, do these stocks have great potential? Absolutely. But if I just come into the market today and put all of my focus on the SPY, I know I'm going to see quite a few great setups and I eliminate the distractions. I don't need to look at 5, 6, 7 other stocks. I just put all of my focus on the SPY, get to know the SPY, how's the SPY moving today, and make good trading decisions and lock in some great profits. So that's my game plan for the day, is putting most of my focus here on the SPY. All right, team? Now, if you guys do have any stocks that you want reviewed, I'm more than happy to get those reviewed, all right? Because we do have opportunity today with Amazon, Nvidia, Boeing, Tesla, Apple, and Microsoft. So if one of those stocks are a stock that's on your watch list and you want me to review it, type it inside a chat right now at this point in time. But if nobody's watching Amazon today, Nvidia, Boeing, Tesla, right? We're just going to put our focus on the SPY. It's that simple. Okay, I'll periodically come back and look at some of these other stocks, see if they're setting up. But honestly, I want to put all of my focus here on the SPY, see how the SPY is moving, and then look to take some freaking killer trades on the SPY. Keep it that simple today, guys, and end the week strong and profitable. But like I said, if anybody's watching Amazon, Nvidia, Boeing, Tesla, Apple, or Microsoft, let me know. I'll get those reviewed, right? Because those are stocks that have good potential today. And if there's any other stock that I didn't list that's on your watch list, I'll take a look at that one as well. Make sure you guys are all set, ready to rock and roll. So let me know. All right, get those typed up inside of chats. It's time to get dialed in, guys. It's time to get focused. Let's make it happen. Microsoft, of course. Yeah, I'm just going to hit on the key levels, right? I'm just going to hit on these key levels. Your lower zone of support. And these are daily levels, just so you guys know. These are all daily levels. Your lower zone of support is between 312.61 and 313.02. That's your lower zone of support. All right. Your upper zone of resistance is between 316.24 and 316.85. If we fall below this lower zone that we're currently holding above, if we fall below this zone right here and we look like we're going to be moving lower, Your next lower zone of support prior to seeing like the next bounce would be between 308.62 and 309.23. Right. So if this area of support holds, Microsoft has potential back up to this upper zone of resistance between 316.22 up towards around this 316.85 level. And that's an area where we could stay below, top on out before rolling back on over. So for the simple fact that Microsoft is going to be opening very close to the support level, we could see Microsoft open, drop into support, hold on up, and then start to push. But here's the deal, right? If you're going to be cautious with trading the SPY long today because we see this much selling pressure, you should probably be cautious to trade Microsoft long today. If you see strength in the overall market, you see the SPY ripping and it looks strong, Qs are ripping, it looks strong, you're pretty confident that Microsoft can rip and push to the upside as well. But if we open on up and the SPY just starts dumping and the Qs start dumping, do we really think Microsoft is going to hold this lower level of support? Probably not. We'll probably see Microsoft open and just drop through that zone, drop through that level if the SPY and the Qs are dumping, fading, and falling as well. So if we ever drop below this lower zone of support between 312.61 and 313.02, and we ever see it push back up and retest that zone as intraday resistance, that's where we want to be looking to get short for the next leg down into this lower zone of support, which again is between 308.62 and 309.23. Okay, so those are going to be the three main levels to have on watch. Three main key highest probability areas of support and resistance, all from the daily. All right. Now, one other thing that I would do as well is I would run a downtrend off of these highs from Wednesday. We have high a day, lower high, 2 connection points. We hit it 1 time, 2 times yesterday. So we see we have a pretty valid downtrend over the past couple of days with Microsoft. So for any reason we see Microsoft hold this level of support, the SPY's ripping on up, the Qs are ripping on up. Well, guess what? At that point in time, you would be pretty confident to trade Microsoft long, especially if you see strength within the SPY and the Qs and they're ripping and running today, right? We would be confident that Microsoft could get back up towards around that upper level of resistance, right? Between 316.24, 316.85. And if we ever break that zone, your next overhead level of resistance would be up at this multi-day downtrend here on Microsoft. That could put you somewhere around like 318 on Microsoft. But again, I highly doubt that's going to happen, right? That would honestly surprise me, right? If we break that initial level of resistance, like I would be surprised if we broke that level. But again, anything could happen. I'm not biased. I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. I'm freaking neutral right down the middle. I don't care what happens. I don't care if Microsoft sets up beautifully to the long side and we play calls. I could care less. I don't care if Microsoft cracks that level of support and retests as resistance to get puts. I don't care. There's a lot of great potential to the long side, about 3 to 4 points to the long side up into this overhead level of resistance. And there's about 3 to 4 points of potential to the downside. So I could care less what Microsoft does at the support level. But we need just solid reasoning to get in, right? Especially to the long side today, guys, just because we see a lot of weakness in the market. So that area of support that we're currently sitting at, that's your line in the sand, right? If that level cracks, we're looking to play puts. If we stay above that level and hold it with strength and we start to see buyers move back in, we see the same thing with the SPY and the Qs. We see strength. Buyers are moving back in, regaining control, at least for the short term. We know that we would be playing calls up towards around that 316 to 316.80 level here on Microsoft. And so maybe those zones of support resistance allow you just to add additional high probability levels to your chart. And maybe you already had these levels. And if so, you're dialed in. You're ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll. But Microsoft does have some really good potential today, guys. And I think Amazon has good potential today as well. And Amazon's potential is to the short side. So obviously, if we continue to see this weakness in the market and the market continues to roll on over, fade and fall, I'm looking to get short on Amazon today below 131.60 down to 130.27 to fill this gap, right? So there is this gap here from August 1st to August 2nd. We actually gapped down prior to this massive gap up, right? So we actually have this gap that could get closed today here on Amazon. And we're actually bouncing off that upper level, that creates this gap zone, right? So this gap zone is between 130.27 and 131.61. We're actually coming on down into that 131.61 area, and we're trying to hold as support, right? So here's the deal. The SPY and the Qs are ripping and running, and we see strength, okay? This level of support could absolutely hold on up. It's a great support level, 131.61. And then we could see, Amazon push back up towards around 133.50, up towards 133.94. That's going to be your overhead level of resistance here on Amazon if this upper level of support holds. Now, if this upper level of support does not hold, we crack below it, and if we enter this gap zone, push back up and retest that support level as resistance while validating we're still inside of this daily gap zone, that would be confirmation to play Amazon short on down to close that daily gap down at 130.27. So that's going to be the type of setup that I want to see to get short on Amazon today, to close this daily gap. But like I said, if this 131.61 holds on up as really strong support and we see buyers stepping back in across the board, it's very, very possible we see Amazon get back up towards around that 133.50 and then possibly up towards around 133.96 next there on Amazon. So Amazon sitting at a very key level of support, and regardless of it holding support and bouncing or cracking support and dumping, there's a lot of great potential here, guys, right? We have a daily gap fill to the short side. We could hold that upper gap level and push back up into yesterday's close and close that gap as well from today's gap down. Either way, there's tons of great potential in the market today, guys. So keep Amazon on high watch as well. Okay. So anything else that you guys have on watch, let me know. We got about 20 minutes until the market opens on up. If you guys are still over on TikTok, just know we're live on YouTube. You can see my scanners, my chart examples, the breakdowns, the levels. You guys can ask questions. I'll review your stocks as well. We're going to trade live together today for Free Stream Friday. So links in the bio, or just go to YouTube, type in Alpha Day Trading, and then join the live session right now if you guys want to trade with us live today. All right. Absolutely free on the tube, baby. I'm just making sure I did not miss any comments or miss any questions. So if I'm doing options today, would I go today or next Friday? It really depends on the spreads with these options today and how volatile they are, right? We do have $2.2 trillion of stock options expiring today. So that may increase the spreads a little bit, right? Having a little bit more volatility. Those spreads may be a little bit wider than what they typically are. It's very possible. So we just got to be watching the first 5, 10, 15 minutes out of the gate, really just taking a look at those options and seeing how they're moving in correlation to the stock, right? Like if we notice there's a disconnect between the options and the premiums and the way they move in correlation with the underlying asset, and we see that disconnection, and again, we see like the spreads are widening, then yeah, we'll go into next Friday, right? Or the Friday after that. We'll buy ourselves some time. We'll go further out on expiration. But if we notice there's no disconnect, the spreads are nice and tight, and those options appear to be tradable, hey, why not? Let's trade some daily expirations, right? As long as you understand the risk behind trading 0 DTE contracts, you understand the risk. If you don't close your position, if you suck at managing your risk, they will expire worthless at 4 o'clock. As long as you've traded them before, you understand how to trade them and understand that the second that trade starts going against you, you need to be cutting that trade and walking away. Then, hey, yeah, you can trade 0 DTEs. But I'm going to wait the first 10, 15 minutes and just watch some of these options and compare it to the stock's movement and make sure there's not a strong disconnect like we were seeing Monday and Tuesday, especially with the SPY. And then also make sure that the spreads aren't large and that the spreads haven't widened on a day where we're going to experience a lot more volatility. All right. So that would be my 2 cents on that. Let's take a look at Tesla real quick. Tesla is another stock on watch today. Now, it's not one of the better looking plays, but there's potential. And there's a couple areas that I want to point out. Your next main level of support here on Tesla is down at 212.55. And your overhead level of resistance is between 218.83 and 219.23, right? Yesterday's low of day and then yesterday's close. There's about a 50-cent window of overhead resistance between 218.83 and 219.23. And your next level of daily support is right here at this 212.55. Now, it's not a super strong support level, but it's going to be an area where we may see a nice little pop and a nice little bounce on Tesla right off that lower shadow. And we see that it was right around some prior resistance and prior daily support as well back here in, early 2022, right? So it's going to be an area to keep on watch for sure. Okay. Right around this 212.55 here on Tesla. And then if we ever do fall below this 212.55, we do have this lower daily gap here on Tesla. Okay. And so that would be the next area to the short side. If Tesla sets up for a good put today, we would have potential to crack below that 212.55 and then drop off towards around 209.78. If we crack below 209.78, we will be entering this daily gap level, and we could see the next leg down to 207.54 here on Tesla. Okay, so that's what I would expect today, right? We have overhead resistance between that 218.83 and 219.23. If we pop on up into that level, we top on out, roll on over. That's a great area to be looking to get short here on Tesla. Or if we open and just crack below this 212.55 level, pop back up for a retest, and we stay below it, we can confidently get short down to that daily gap level, right? And that daily gap level is down between 207.54 and 209.78 here on Tesla. So Tesla looks decent, right? There's good potential today with Tesla. Does it look better than Amazon or Microsoft? Not really, but there's still some good potential, and it's definitely worth watching as we do have this lower gap that could get filled today, right? Right now, your light level of support is 212.55. Your next main level of resistance is back up at yesterday's low of day and yesterday's close, all right? So yesterday you said pre-market trend lines are not really respected. So pre-market trend lines are respected, right? But when you start mixing pre-market trend lines with intraday points, that's when the trend line loses probabilities. Okay. So like if you identify an intraday trend line, right, and it's a valid significant trend line, it carries those higher probabilities. If you see a valid significant trend line just in pre-market, it's going to carry high probabilities as well. When you start mixing pre-market and intraday points to identify a trend line, I'm not saying the trend lines are invalid. I'm saying the probabilities drop substantially, right? And that was a good example yesterday here with the SPY, to where we had this pre-market uptrend that was validated, right? We come down, we have this trend line, come down, tap, tap it, come down again, tap, tap, tap it. We see that we had a valid trend line from pre-market. The second we go from pre-market to intraday, those trend lines lose their probabilities, right? They're not as, significant in my opinion, right? I can't tell you how many times I've had a pre-market trend line drawn into intraday, looking to take trades off that trend line, and we chop around it. So that was a prime example of a pre-market trend line that bled into intraday. And again, I'm not saying it's not going to be a high probable trend line, but it does lose its probabilities just a little bit. So the best bet is if you're trading, say, futures and pre-market and you see a trend line, that's your intraday pre-market. Well, I'm not your intraday. That's your pre-market trend line. You can trade off that trend line in pre-market. But when the market opens, I would honestly delete those trend lines and then identify other high probability, significant trend lines off your intraday points only. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I go over the cues? Yes, sir. I absolutely can go over the cues. Anything for you, man. How you feeling, by the way? Hopefully you're feeling pretty good, dude. All right. So first things first, let's go to the cues. I want to do the same thing I've done with everything across the board since we're gapping down. I want to go mark up yesterday's low of day and yesterday's close as our overhead level of resistance. And then I just want to take a peek-a-rooski here at the daily and really gauge where could we be coming down to next. And I see that we'll probably be coming down into the zone, right? We have a lot of resistance and support off the daily between 355.20 and 355.88. We came up as resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I know we pushed above it here quite a few times. We have 2 points right inside of that zone. Gap up low of day is the bottom part of the zone, which is 355.20. So I know that this is going to be an area that the Qs could come down to before bouncing, or if we crack and hold below this level, that could be great confirmation that the Qs can go on their next leg down. Then I see potential all the way down into these lows right here. That's going to put you down between 348.14 and 348.89. And there is one other level that I want to throw on here real quick, and that's going to be this zone right through here where we had some of these highs of day, and lows of day, like right around here. We can see we had a high a day, we had a low of day, high day, low of day. So this is going to be a zone of support resistance as well. That's between 353.07 and 353.62. So these are like the highest probability areas of daily support, daily resistance, right? We can see that these areas are going to be some pretty key high probability levels. So now we go right into our intraday time frame, and let's see where the Qs are at compared to a lot of these levels. What happened to all of my SPY levels? Oh my gosh. That sucks. All right, cool. But it doesn't matter. We'll go back and redo the SPY. So here we go. We found this daily level. Okay. We found all of our daily levels right into our intraday time frame, and look at this lower level of support holding on up, right? That zone between 355.20 and 355.80. It's being respected beautifully. All right. And we're going to be opening in the zone. So there's one of two things that are going to happen when the Qs open. Qs are going to open in this zone of support and then start to push into this overhead level of resistance. That's back up off yesterday's low of day and right at yesterday's close. Okay. So if we open on up and hold this lower zone of support and we see a strong pop and a strong bounce, the Qs do have great potential to spike back up towards around that 358.16 to 358.57 level. That's again just yesterday's low of day and yesterday's close. Okay. Or we see the Qs open and just go bloop, right below that zone. We see it push back up into that zone, stay below it as resistance. We can confidently get short into our next lower zone of support. That again is going to be between 353.07 and 353.62. So your line in the sand. I love when we have lines in the sand, especially when we're opening at these levels. I love it. Your line in the sand today with the Qs is this zone of support between 355.20 and 355.88. If we hold above it and see a strong bounce, we can play calls into at least yesterday's low of day and then maybe into yesterday's close of 358.58. All right. But if we do not hold this zone of support, fall below it, and then push back up and stay below it, that's when we look to get short down to this next level of support between 353.07 and 353.62. And then down towards around 350, right? 350 is going to be a psychological level of support. And then if we ever see the Qs dropping below 350, your next area is between 348.14 and 348.89 here on the Qs. These are going to be the highest probability levels of daily support resistance that we can see respected and validated here intraday, right? Now I got to go back and redo the SPY. Great, right? So let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to go draw that zone off yesterday's low of day up to yesterday's close. Come back, look left, and start identifying these other levels of lower support. It's going to be right off these two levels here. Yep, and we can even draw this back and connect this high a day, low of day before the bounce. So that's going to be a key support level coming on up. Then we can clearly see it's going to be up against all of these lows. Is going to be the next level of support coming on up. And there is one other area that I want to go grab here on the SPY. And actually, that is this zone right here, because that connects to this high right here. Spiking high before that big time drop, right? And then we have a lot of resistance, support. So it's very clear that our next strongest level of support on the SPY is between 431.19 and 431.91. We fall below that level, You'll see some pit stops along the way down. I'm sure you'll probably see the SPY down towards around this zone here, just right off a lot of these prior spiking highs, which is going to be between like 428.87 and 429.66. But then your next major level of support is this lower zone between 425.86 and 426.40. But we know coming up first is going to be 431.19 to 431.91 here on the SPY. It's going to be your nearest zone of support. So let's get that drawn on over. Make sure that we can see these on our intraday time frame. Let's just drag these out to the right a little bit. Boop, boop, boop. Switch it. They're in. And they're in. Cool. So yeah, we know that the SPY, has potential to come down, again, to this lower zone, 431.19 between 431.91. Overhead resistance right now is between 435.75 and 436.28. And like I mentioned before, we're right in the middle of resistance and support. We call this the no-go zone. We don't know if the SPY is going to push up or if the SPY is going to drop on off. We have really no idea. It's a big question mark, right? Probabilities are 50-50. But if we come up into resistance, top out, roll over, we have 80% probabilities up here. If we come on down, hold support, and start to push, we've got 80% probabilities down here. So you want to take a 50-50 trade? I don't, right? I want to wait for it to come up into resistance, top out, roll over. I know I have 80% probabilities that we drop. Or I want to see it come on down, hold that level of support, and start to bounce. I know we have 80% probabilities of possibly bouncing on up here on the SPY today, guys. So that's what I got for you on the SPY. Steve, you got the solid, thorough, beautiful breakdown over on the Qs. So you should be all set, ready to rock on the Qs. And so here's the deal. Look at the SPY and look at the Qs. Okay, the Qs are sitting right at a key support level, right? We're going to be opening at a very key level of support on the Qs. The SPY, we're not really opening at a key level of support on the SPY. We're right in the middle of key support, key resistance. So look at the SPY, where it's currently at, where it's probably going to open. Look at the Qs, where it's at, where it's probably going to open. If you had to choose one stock to watch right at the start of the day, the SPY or the Qs, which one are you choosing? Are you going to look at the Qs to start the day, or are you going to be focused on the SPY right in the middle of this key support, key resistance level? Or are you going to be looking at the Qs right at this key level of support? Which one are you going to be watching? And ladies and gentlemen, we got about 70 viewers over on YouTube. Absolutely amazing. Love having you guys here. Thank you so much for your support. And again, we're going to have a fun day, guys. We're going to crush it. We're going to take some great trades. We're going to lock in some amazing profits. It's going to be a fun, valuable, educational packed day. So stick around until 11 o'clock, right? We're going to be running the stream until 11 o'clock. So stick around. If you guys have yet to do so, just hit the subscribe button. Just smash it. And then hit that notification bell as well. So when we go live in the morning, when we go live periodically during the week for free stream days, at least you guys are getting notified that we're live. We've dropped a new lesson, a new video. And again, you guys are getting notified to come back and just rock and roll. Always move that needle forward. The Qs, exactly. The Qs, right? Because like if we're looking at the SPY, we can see the SPY's like 50-50 right here. Is the SPY going to bounce and push or drop? Like it's just 50-50. Right? We know where our key level of resistance is and our key level of support is. We take a look at the Qs are sitting right at key support. So we know we're at a higher probability level on the Qs. So if we see the Qs hold this level and rip, let's be honest, the SPY is probably going to push on up into overhead resistance. So if you see the Qs holding that zone of support and ripping, you feel pretty confident that the SPY can push on up as well. But if you're looking at the Qs and the Qs crack below the zone of support, hit it as resistance and start to drop, we know that the SPY isn't pushed on up into the resistance. We know the SPY with higher probabilities is going to come on down into this lower level of support. So for the simple fact that the Qs are sitting at a high probability support level is why I want to watch the Qs, because the Qs and what they do at this level will dictate what the SPY does. If the Qs hold this level and rips, let's be honest, the SPY is going to push on up as well. But if the Qs crack below this level and start to dump, we have a high level of confidence and certainty that the SPY is going to drop on down into this lower level of support as well. So I would put most of my focus here on the Qs right at the start of the day, simply because of the Qs location compared to the SPY location right now at this point in time. Location's everything. We're sitting at a key support level here on the Qs. I want to keep the Qs on high watch right at the start of the day, guys. Right. If you guys want to learn more about working with us, joining the community, right, just go over to alphadaytrading.com. Check us out, right? Super simple. Just check us out, see what this community is all about and how it can benefit you guys and help you guys become better traders. So links in the bio on TikTok. And then again, you guys see the website link here on YouTube as well, alphadaytrading.com. Just come on over and check us out. If you guys have any questions ever, you guys can shoot me a DM on TikTok. You can shoot me an email, josh@alphadaytrading.com. Always happy to help you guys out. But right now, we're pretty much all set, ready to rock and roll, guys. We got about 2 minutes until the market opens. We're watching the Qs right at the start of the day, followed by the SPY. The Qs and the SPY have 80 to 90% of my focus, okay? We are going to be watching Amazon today for that possible gap fill short, right? We got Microsoft on watch today. We got NVIDIA sitting on the back burner. All right, you got NVIDIA on the back burner. We got Boeing. So I do want to talk about Boeing really quickly. We got this daily gap fill, right? Everybody check it. Between 216 and 221.80. We got this daily gap fill. If the SPY and the Qs are dumping and fading and falling once again today, guess what BA is probably going to do? It's going to dump and fall. It's going to fade and fall. It's going to drop on off, right? So if we ever crack below this 221.80 level, we can come all the way down and close this lower gap at 216. Is there going to be a pit stop along the way down? Yes, there will be a few pit stops along the way down. You're not just going to go from 221.80 straight down to 216 without bouncing. There are some light levels of support along the way down, but your main target would be that gap fill at 216, right? But what are going to be those light levels of support where we could bounce? The 50 SMA is an area where we could see a bounce. Down against these highs, right around 218.87 is an area where we could bounce. If we crack those two light levels of support, then you're pretty confident BA's coming down towards around 216 to close this daily gap. So definitely keep BA on high watch for this daily gap fill short strategy. All right. NVIDIA is a back burner. Apple is a back burner as well. But Tesla looking pretty decent. So we will be watching Tesla also. But like I said, at least the start of the day, guys, my focus is going right to the Qs and right to the SPY. That's it, right? So market's going to open in less than 1 minute. Let's have an amazing day. Let's crush the market, baby. And let's end this week strong and profitable. Let's go. Market's live. Let's see what we got. Let's make it happen. Let's have some fun. Let's make some great trades, guys, knowing that the money is going to follow. Let's go, baby. Let's get it. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and get my broker open. Don't you guys think? I think so. Broker's not even open, but going ahead and get that open right now. Let's go ahead and get logged in. Well, there goes my fancy keyboard again, being all lovely. Haha, invalid username. It's this. There we go. There we go. Go ahead and get me logged in. Again, guys, we are live on the tube. Just so you guys know, if you guys want to see my charts, work with us live today, trade with us live, just come over to YouTube. Go to Alpha Day Trading, the channel. You'll see that we're live. Come on over. Have some fun. We got about 80 viewers right now on YouTube. I'll tell you what, if we get 150 viewers on YouTube today, 150 viewers, I'm going to do a giveaway. So we get 150 viewers on YouTube. If we get 100 likes on this stream as well, I'm going to pick one person at 11 o'clock and give them a yearly pass to our community, right? So at 11 o'clock, if we hit those 150 viewers, 100 likes plus, I'm going to pick one person, give them a 12-month pass to the community. So come over to YouTube, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, attend the stream, like the stream, comment what's up, and maybe you are one of those lucky winners today. So if you guys want it, go start sharing this on your Facebook, right? If you're like, we need to get 150 people watching and 100 likes, let me go blast this on my Facebook. Go ahead and share the stream, blast it on your Facebook, whatever you guys got to do. Let's make it happen. So there are the cues opening right at that lower zone of support and starting to see a little bit of a bounce. So right now, just kind of in observation mode, right? Standby mode, standby, just waiting and watching and looking to see where the SPY is going to be going. Oh, man. Come on, baby. Keyboard. Get with it.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Is Catherine already in there locking in profits? Like, what's going on? That's like Catherine every day this week. Like, come on in. It's not even freaking 5 minutes in the day. We already got some big old profits. That's what I'm talking about. What do we got? $1,000 out of the gate on the spot. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love it, dude. I love it. Let's go. Starting off strong. Let's go. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I'm still having issues with the keyboard. I'm going to buy a battery this weekend. I'm going to buy a battery. I guess it needs a freaking battery for a solar charged keyboard. Rechargeable battery. Got to get one. I'll go get it. C2020. I don't know. We'll figure out which one it is. I know I rock. Yeah, we got 83 viewers right now, so let's make it happen. Let's step it up, baby. We'll get it. All right. So again, standby mode. That's it. Observation mode. What do we got going on? Right. Where's the best of the best opportunity? That's all it comes down to, guys. Not chasing stocks, not FOMOing in, waiting for the market to come to you. That's it. As soon as we see a really good looking setup, I'll bring it to your attention. We'll educate you guys on the setup, build the plan, help you guys assess position sizing and manage risk. Like, we'll help you guys out with it. But until we see a setup, we're in observation mode, man. We're just watching. That's it. So right now, again, we know not to touch the SPY until the SPY either A, gets up into this overhead zone of resistance, or until we see a drop on off into this lower zone of support. Right now, we're just hands off. Wait for it to come on up, hit your level, give you reasoning for the trade, and then get short if we have a solid reason to get short up at this overhead level of resistance. But we're 6 minutes into the day. No trade. Waiting for the best of the best opportunity. That's it, guys. Waiting for the best of the best. So sitting back, being patient. Patiently waiting. Where's the trade? Where's the setup? You got Amazon holding that 131.60. Amazon's got some room to 133.50. Oh, man. Mr. Anthony's in the house. What's up, dude? Oh, yeah. What's up, man? Yeah, I heard the echo. I'm like, there's Josh's voice again. I hate the way I sound through audio.
There we go.
Good
Okay,
stuff.
now we're good.
I got a new rule for you.
I love rules. I'm just gonna follow them.
Yeah, 100%. So new rule is you're not going to trade in today anymore. I think that's a good rule because you've been green for 2 or 3 days. You came back in the afternoon and then some of those profits were given back. So I would say just for now, let's not trade in the afternoon, man. Let's have your trading wrapped up by 11:30 because it seems like by 11:30 you're always walking away with some profits.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I kept hearing power hour, and I thought I'd get in on that and try it out.
No, I got you, man. It happens, right? We test things, we practice around a little bit, but the one thing that I would say is I have an understanding as to why you came back. You wanted to add more money to the bottom line. You wanted to get a little bit higher on that daily goal, right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. But let's say that you came in and were able to make $300 to $500 before 11:30. Let's just say that was the outcome. You're making $300 to $500 a day on average before 11:30. Would you even come back at that point in time to take on more trades?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Probably not, because that would be your goal, right? Exactly. So, but yeah, so I resonate with that. I used to come back in Power Hour and trade when I was trading a smaller account. I was only making, 100, $150 before lunch. I'm like, man, I want to make 200, 300, $400, right? That's the goal I want to get to. So I would come back and trade end of day and take more trades to make more money versus just learning how to properly size up on position to make more money, right? On those initial trades out of the gate to start the day, to where it's like I can hit my goal by 10:30, 11 o'clock, to where I don't even have the need to come back into day. Because one thing you'll notice with end of day, like volume and just price action, it seems to be more random than anything.
Yeah.
It's like you see a great killer setup and it's like, why did that not even respect my level at all? Right? It's like, that was a great level. Whatever the case is, you just notice a little bit more inconsistency with your follow through, and price action seems to be more random towards the end of the day.
I did, and I had a good setup, or so I thought, but I did not put as much time as I should have into it, and I rushed it because it was 3:15.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got to get in. It's going to close, or it's going to be 4 o'clock before I know it. And that was my stupid mistake.
It happens, man. But you and your mindset and the way you process mistakes are there opportunities to learn. And you're a really strong guy to where it's like when you make a mistake, you learn from it instantaneously. And I don't see you making the same mistakes over and over and over. It's like when you make it, you're like, fuck, I made a mistake. You learn from it right in the moment. And then I don't see you making those same mistakes over and over again. So it means we're moving the needle, dude. But yeah, I would say, yeah, and that's why I was like, I saw your check-in last night, and I'm like, you know what, dude? Yeah, let's just create a temporary rule right now that states that you will not trade after 11:30, not even come back into the day. So the goal, come in, identify your setups and your trades the first 2 hours, and let's hit that goal that we have established for you.
Right.
And then as long as we see consistency with you coming in and on average hitting that goal, then we're just going to start scaling up in size to where you can start hitting those bigger goals in the same time horizon, the first 2 hours of the day. Cool, man. So let's rock it today, dude. Saw you crushing that morning routine. You feeling pretty good? I'm feeling pretty good as well.
Yep.
Catherine's like, I love that rule. I only do covered calls in the afternoon. Yep. And that's why we leave at 12 o'clock and we don't come back in the afternoon. So you guys aren't tempted to take trades. So all right. All right. So we are all set, guys. Just waiting patiently. That's about it. Just waiting patiently. All right. All right. So that's it, guys. So we're only 11 minutes in. No trades just yet. So Josh, can you pull that halt scan? Yeah, my bad. I can definitely pull that halt scanner up for you. Boop. There you go, buddy. Gotcha, man. Carlos, what's up, dude? It's been a while. Good morning, man. It's been a minute. So again, just looking at some of these large cap plays we have, and nothing is setting up just yet. The only thing that I see is BA for puts. And the reason I say Boeing for puts is we're gapping down into that support level, right? That gap up low of day at 221.80. We opened the day, came down and bounced off that level of support, and we're closing the gap up into yesterday's low of day and close. So this is going to be a pretty key level of resistance here on Boeing. So we came up through that level, but we're failing to hold it as support for the next leg up, right? So we're actually seeing a false break above that zone of resistance, coming back below it. If we see a lower high develop back inside of that zone and we start to roll on over off a lower high, I would consider getting short back down to that 221.80 here on BA. If we see a lower high reversal off that main level of resistance that we have identified here on BA, up towards around, like a 224.50. So if we see that lower high developing right up at 224.50 and we start to roll on over, that's going to be a pretty decent area to look to get short here on BA. How do the puts look like on BA today? Let's see. Oh, they're so cheap. The spreads are kind of bleh. Oh, those spreads are horrendous. Jeez. Those spreads are brutal, guys. Yeah, those yeah, I mean, if you can limit order in, but those spreads are not good looking at all. I mean, look at your 225.50 puts. I mean, you got a 15-cent spread. That's 15%. If you go 7 days out, the spreads are a lot better. So it's going to be really hard to trade the daily expirations on BA. You'd probably have to go 7 days out on BA. Bye, Boeing.
Hey, what's a good time frame to go by if you're day trading with 0 DTE? And it's Friday today. What's a good time frame to be like, okay, that's enough, I gotta get out, or it's gonna.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, man. So here's how I kind of like pick and choose options. So for example, it all comes down to like time horizon. So if I'm looking at, a certain trade and I'm building the plan and I think like my time horizon is going to be more than 10 minutes, right? I'm going to start going out further in expiration just in case, right? Because I could be in that trade for 10, 20 minutes before I start scaling out. And if I see potential to hold a runner as well. Like if I'm like, hey, this is a trade, guys, where I'm going to take some profits and then eventually hold a runner and see how long I can hold it, I'm not trading 0 DTEs, because even if the trade's going in my favor, the theta is working against me, I'm not going to realize the full amount of profit that I could realize on a 0 DTE if I'm holding it for 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, especially if I have a runner. So it really just comes down to the time horizon. If my time horizon's less than 10 minutes, right? Like I think this trade is going to play out in 5 to 10 minutes. It's a quick scalp in and out. I'm not intending to hold a runner. I'll then trade 0 DTEs, knowing that I'm going to be in and out quick. The theta is not going to impact the premiums as much. But if I realize 20, 30-minute long trade, I want to leave a runner, that's when I start buying myself time and I go out into like the next Friday's expiration, for example.
I got you. I guess I have an issue with today's contract costing $100 versus next Friday costing $430.
Substantially more expensive. Yeah. But let me ask you this, man, like your average hold time per trade, if you had to guess, is probably what, 5 to 10 minutes at most?
Yeah, way less than 10 minutes.
Way less than 10. Like you're rarely in a trade for a long period of time. You're not really scaling out and holding runners for long periods of time. Like you're just getting out, taking profit and bringing stops to break even. And then you start scaling from there. So yeah, based on that, you could confidently and safely trade 0 DTEs, but make sure your stops are nice and tight. And the second the trade starts to go against you, just honor your risk. Because if you hold it too long and it goes against you and it doesn't rebound, those contracts are just going to get absolutely destroyed. So you have to be really good at managing your risk, number one, and just being, committed to cutting that trade if it goes against you.
That's why I lost more than I anticipated losing on that trade yesterday, because that was a 15, 20-minute trade, I think, and it was Thursday.
Yeah, towards the end of the day as well, when the theta is really starting to impact those premiums, right? Right before the day of expiration, 30-minute long trade toward the end of the trading session. That's what would have done it to you.
That makes a lot of sense because I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just always assessing time horizon on your trade plans. And if your time horizon's like, I think this is a quick little scalp, 5-10 minutes, closest to expiration or dailies should be okay. You're really good at managing your risk as well. But if you notice you're going to hold the trade for a longer duration of time, just buy yourself time and go out a little bit further.
Yeah, gotcha.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
So, I mean, the cues are just sitting sideways, super choppy. I mean, we're only 20 minutes in, but 20 minutes of just sitting sideways. We'll see what the cues are going to be able to do coming on up. See if we can break out of this consolidation and start to get some action. You take a look at the SPY as well. We just, had that initial spike on up first couple of minutes, but since then, more or less just sitting sideways for the past 15. Same thing. We'll see if we can start to break out of this consolidation and see where we're heading next. And we'll go from there, guys. Anything with Amazon? Amazon, not quite, right? We were really targeting that daily gap fill to the downside on Amazon. That's still in play if we see the markets roll on over. Microsoft, it's grinding that lower level of support. So as long as that lower level of support holds on up and we continue to see the SPY and the Qs push to the upside, right? We do have room to like 316 on Microsoft today. Tesla still got plenty of time to the upside. Nothing there. NVIDIA, nothing here yet. Apple, where are we at on Apple? We still got some time to the upside. So, again, still just kind of sitting back, waiting to see where the SPY is going to be going, coming on up. Appreciate it, man. You got Scooter Tips, Alpha, the best education on YouTube. I appreciate it, man. I would have to say that it's pretty darn good if you ask me. But appreciate the support, man. So again, like I said, like all of my focus today, guys, is really going to be here on the SPY and the Qs at the start of the day, right? Because again, the SPY and the Qs pushing to the upside. What's going to happen with Amazon? It's going to push to the upside. Plus, we still have a lot of room to the upside on Amazon until we hit resistance. Same thing with Microsoft. Same thing with Tesla. Again, same thing really across the board, guys. So I want to put, again, most of my focus on the SPY and the Qs and just wait for the market to come to me. Why am I not trading the SPY? Why am I not in here on the Qs, right? Because I really want the market to come to me and then set up, give me a reason to get in and go from there. Right. A prime example of what I mean, like waiting for the market to come to you, was the Amazon trade here on Wednesday. Right. Yeah, it was off that like 137.25. Okay. I was waiting very patiently here on Wednesday for Amazon to hit to the penny 137.25. If you guys were inside a chat or over on YouTube, you saw that take place live. And again, it never hit that level until about 10:22. So I got my first trade off the table at like 10:22. Right? An hour and 25 minutes. Well, not quite, almost an hour after market open until I had my first trade because I let the market come to me. I had intraday confirmation to play puts, and it was a nice winning trade. Okay, so that's a prime example of what I mean by letting the market come to you. That was my level. I waited for the market to get to first before entering a trade. Right now, take a look at Amazon. Are we at one of my key zones? We're not. So no trade there. Microsoft at a key zone. Possibly. I mean, we're still holding above this lower zone of support between 312.60 and 313. That lower zone continues to hold on up as support, right? That's my zone. That's my area. And if there's a reason to play this long, I'll get long up to 316 on Microsoft. So let's keep this one on high watch. Tesla, not quite to one of my levels just yet, right? NVIDIA, not quite to one of my levels. Apple, not quite to one of my levels. Same thing with the SPY. We still have a little bit of time to go here. So it's all about just being patient, guys. Be patient.
I've got a level right above that area of support on Microsoft. That's like a daily support and resistance level, 313.24.
313.24. So yeah, that's right around my zone, man. So I have 312.60 to 313, but you're saying 313.24.
It goes back as a daily on the day chart support.
Yeah, so I'm going back to see 313. I got 38. There's a 90. So you're, yeah. So 313. 313.24.
Where did that come from? Maybe I double clicked that because I got 312.21.
It's possible because here's the zone I'm seeing, man. If you can see my chart. So we have this spiking high here on May 10th, right? And then we also come back down and have this big low of day right at, what was the low day here? That was 312.61 prior to this big move, right? We had a very explosive move away from this zone, right? So we have resistance, rejected, resistance, rejected. We pushed through it, returned to it as support. We held that day before a massive gap up and a big explosion to the upside. So this is a really key level for me. And that's going to be that zone between 312.60 and 313.02. Well, NEPT, not bad. I posted this one up this morning for you guys over on NEPT. We had lower support right around like 21 cents. As long as that lower support level held, that was a great trade. We were actually looking for the ascending triangle breakout. So again, you would have just gotten some confirmations here at the start of the day over that 25-cent level of resistance for entries. I had a like an initial plan built to where you're putting stops down here at like 20 cents. I think that's way too much risk, but that was the initial plan that we had built because that gave us a 3-to-1. Again, if you're making those entries, you know, right there at 25 cents, I think putting your stops 5 cents away, that's pretty tight. And you're already up in some nice profits right now. So I would say stops can go right below that level, right? I would say stops at 24 cents is perfect. And right now, you're currently sitting at a 4-to-1. So scale out, take profits. And honestly, if you're scaling out right now on NEPT, taking some profits at 4-to-1, I would honestly go stops at break even now at this point in time. You can't lose. You've already hit 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1. You're at 4-to-1. You're scaling out. At one point, you were sitting way up here at nearly a 6-to-1. So again, overall, great trade so far on NEPT. And like, this was the only stock I gave you guys a breakdown on for small caps. It was the only stock that actually looked really good. So hopefully you guys saw that post and maybe you guys were able to get in on NEPT. Man, this keyboard is jacked. There we go. Whew. So right now, I would be a little cautious, for example, to trade Microsoft long because the SPY is starting to roll on over here a little bit. We had this short-term uptrend on the SPY. We're starting to dip below it, but we see a pretty big drop. So if we continue to see, you know, sellers move on in, that's going to pull Microsoft down below that support zone. I would be a little cautious right now just to jump right in, especially if the SPY is going to continue to fade and fall. But the only thing that I say that helps back up along on Microsoft is the fact that the Qs are still sitting inside of its zone of support. So if we do see the Qs continue to hold this lower zone of support and we're able to push back to the upside, then Microsoft will hold that level and get a nice little push as well. So I would really just stress, like, let's watch the SPY here for a few moments. Let's watch the Qs. and make sure we don't see a drop even lower, which would kill a Microsoft trade altogether. But if we do see the SPY bouncing and holding and the Qs bouncing and holding, then hey, Microsoft's sitting right at that key support level. There could be something here. And then something else on top of that is we do have this intraday downtrend that we're starting to notice here on Microsoft as well. So if we do see the SPY and the Qs hold on up, and we see Microsoft hold this lower zone of support, and we ever see a nice break of this downtrend, that could be an area where we see buyers really start to step on back in. But again, QQQ still dropping pretty hard right now. SPY, nice drop, trying to bounce a wee bit. But remember what I said this morning is don't try and catch the bounces until you see a bounce actually work. And it's a good bounce, right? The last thing I want you guys doing is right here saying, hey, here's support. Let's jump in the calls. And then the next candle open and just dump 50 cents to the downside and it not be a strong, valid bounce. Like if you're looking for any kind of calls today in this market, I would highly suggest if you see a long opportunity for a bounce play, for example, you sit back on the first one and see if the first one actually plays out. If so, at least you're a little bit more confident if you see a second or a third opportunity present itself for a bounce. The last thing I want you guys doing is getting in calls and then just getting absolutely destroyed to the downside. Like yesterday, we were sitting right at a super great level of support right here. This was a daily support level that we came down to the penny. We bounced and then just absolutely got rocked to the downside. So again, be cautious. These have been a lot of short-lived bounces and sellers step right back in. I don't want you guys trying to catch a bounce off like intraday support. It'd be a light bounce. It'd be short-lived. And then you guys just take an unnecessary loss. Wait for the first one and then go from there. Come on, Mr. Keyboard. We got Mo. Oh my gosh. Cat. Oh, dude. So this is my SPY trade. I just sold covered calls on NVIDIA. I love the market. Locking in $8,688. My goodness. My goodness. That's awesome. Congratulations. You've earned those profits. You're deserving those profits. That's amazing work. We saw last week a $15,000 day. Today, 1,000 plus 8. That's almost 10K. Like, my goodness, that Roth is looking good, Catherine. That Roth is looking great. So, okay. So over the last 3 minutes, Microsoft holding that level, having a bounce. Take a look at the SPY. We're actually rolling on over with the SPY. I'm curious to see if Microsoft starts moving to the downside along with the SPY and the Qs as well. You're seeing a little bit of a drop on off with both the SPY and the Qs. And I'm just curious, is Microsoft going to follow suit? Or is Microsoft more or less going to do its own thing today? If we start to notice Microsoft just doing its own thing, then we can trade Microsoft independently without really needing to focus on SPY and the Qs. But if you notice, anytime the SPY drops, anytime the Qs drop, if we see that reaction within Microsoft, then of course, we need to be watching the SPY and the Qs as well to help back up our trades on something like Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla. QQQ dropping off a little bit lower here. SPY still pulling back as well. What's Microsoft doing? It's starting to pull back just a little bit here as well. I think the next upcoming trade is going to be Amazon, right? Assuming we continue to see the SPY fade and fall, the Qs fade and fall. Like, I believe Amazon can get below this 131.60 level, retest it as resistance, and then start to come down to close this daily gap down around like 130.27 here on Amazon. So let's keep Amazon on high watch here, guys. And then obviously continue to reference the SPY and the Qs and see what these look like. But again, why are we not taking bounce plays today? Especially off these light intraday support levels, because the bounces have been short-lived. That was a very short-lived bounce. If you're not in and out to the penny, you're taking some stops, right? So again, the best bet is to wait for these bounces, gauge how weak or strong they are. And if it's a weak bounce that starts rolling on over, your best bet's to play to the short side, because at least you see some nice, big, sizable drops to the downside with ease. Oh, yeah, baby. So that's about it, guys. I mean, the only thing that we have right now is the BA puts, right? Boeing off that lower high back inside of that zone of resistance, right? Lower high, back at that zone. We had our lower high. We start to drop. So that was the put entry with stops over that swing high. And right now we're rocking and rolling to the downside. I mean, we've got about $1.50 in our favor. Those contracts aren't really budging, though. That's the only problem, is the contracts are having a hard time getting any kind of movement. And the spreads have opened up a lot as well. So we're only up like $30 on that trade. But we're going to have to manage our risk very, very smart with something like BA, especially those spreads being extremely large, and the contracts not really moving the way that, I've expected them to. So still a good trade. Nailed the entry. We're up $1.50. And our stops are nice and tight, right around our break-even point. So we'll just let BA continue to play its way out, but absolutely nailing that lower high back at that zone of resistance for the short. And right now we're up about $1.50 on BA. And the options, they're up a little bit. I mean, the trade's up like $30. The spreads are pretty large, though. That's the only downfall. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. A little bit of that chop, chop, chop so far, guys. A little bit of that chop, chop, chop. I don't really see like a clean reason to be jumping in on the Qs. I'm not really seeing a clean reason to be jumping in on the SPY. Again, the only thing that we saw was BA off this lower high for the short. That was the only setup we saw. And hey, we took the trade, but the options are a little poopy. I mean, Microsoft. I mean, I'm still watching Microsoft here to see what we're going to do. Amazon. Still waiting on Amazon as well. So I did take the trade on BA, AV 3D renders, as we were discussing. That was the lower high short on BA. I'm currently in on that trade with a starter position of just 10 contracts. Can I take a look at the Walmart? Yeah, absolutely. Walmart's. So remember that initial level of resistance that we had here on Walmart, that we were just sitting there and tapping it, like what, 5, 6, 7 times. We were just looking for a break up through that zone. a pullback and retest, and then we had a target at 162.43. The first target was hit before that massive drop. And like what we're seeing now is that zone of resistance that turned support, where we actually took some calls up to that 162.43. We see it now holding back down as resistance, right? So I like puts. I like the short on Walmart, right? We have this, break and retest, this push. We failed to move higher, right back below resistance, back into it for the retest. A nice big drop yesterday, validating this level. Okay, so as long as we stay below this zone of resistance, puts look amazing. So as long as we stay below like this 160.34 to 160.77 zone of resistance, there's a lot more potential, possibly, to the downside. I see a lot of this support coming on up that we can definitely get to here on Walmart, right? That's going to be between 153.15 and 153.77. So, seeing a short-term bounce back up like we are, massive drop yesterday, short-term bounce back up. If we can get really close to that upper level of resistance and then start to see it rolling on over, I would love to possibly get short on, Walmart back down into these lows. And that zone is going to put you back down again between like 153.15 to 153.77. So we know where that overhead level of resistance is. We know where the next major level of support's going to be. And so now we just have to wait for Walmart to get back up as close to that zone as possible before absolutely being able to, start rolling on over. So, how much more room to the upside do we have today? I mean, we need to see about another $1.20 to the upside. More than that, $1.60. About another $1.60 push to the upside. On Walmart would look good. That would put us right back into that upper level of resistance. And if we can see it come on up into that level today and then stay below it, we could definitely look for an intraday short, based on these daily levels. And that would be a great area to look to get short for the next leg down here on Walmart. But like right now, if you're thinking about a long up into that level of resistance, there could be a long up into that level of resistance. I would wait for a break of this intraday downtrend. And we have some intraday support right around like 158.39. So, could we come on down into this 158.39 bounce and then start to break the downtrend? Absolutely. That's where buyers could move back in, pushing Walmart back up to high a day. And then up into that overhead daily level of resistance, right? You could take some profits up at that resistance level and then sit back and wait to see if you get a good short opportunity for the next leg on down. So could you play it long on up into resistance? Absolutely, right? If we hold above 158.39 and then break this downtrend, you could see a spike on up into that zone. And then if we start topping out and rolling on over, I would love to possibly be getting short on Walmart off that daily level of resistance.
You said 10% spread, or did you say 5% on the spread is what you don't want it to be over?
5%.
5%.
That's my golden rule. Yep. So if I'm market ordering in and out of an option, 5% or less. And so when you're looking at something like the SPY or the Qs, the spread's usually like 1 or 2 cents, which is like 1%. So market ordering in and out on something like the SPY and the Qs is pretty easy. But if you notice the spread's over 5%, one of two things. Number one, you don't take the trade, right? Number two, you have to get filled via limit just so you don't get in with a 15% spread and you're already automatically down 15% on your trade. You'd have to get in via limit.
So the Microsoft spreads have been like 7 or 8 cents. So that's right at 5%.
Right at 5. So you're safe to market order in and out. But if you can still catch a limit order entry, it doesn't hurt to catch a limit order entry because, again, that's $6 to $7 per contract that you're adding to profit, right? And decreasing how much risk you have as well. But yeah, that's my golden rule, man, is 5% or less to take the trade, and I'll happily market order in and out of those, right? And know that I don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of spread. There's not going to be a lot of slippage.
So I've got to learn how to do the whole limit on contract.
Yeah, man. And so what you would do is like, instead of just clicking the buy market, sell market on your active trader window, you could actually just go down on your ladder and then click the price that's, say, like 10 cents below the current bid. You can just click that price. It'll put a limit order in for you.
Wow. Just like I do with Southpaw system.
Exactly. But just do it to the buy side. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I got you, man. I got you. It looks weak to me as well, Catherine. It does. Massive day yesterday. You're just getting a short-term bounce on back up into some of these overhead levels of resistance. Now you're just waiting for those levels of resistance to get hit intraday, see Walmart start to roll on back over, and then get short. But yeah, definitely looks weak to me as well. And again, you could see a short-term. What is all of this crap on my charts, man? I mean, TradingView is spazzing hardcore today. Yeah, guys, I'm still jacking with this freaking keyboard. Beautiful. I love it. Batteries getting in today. We gonna get those batteries. And I gotta turn this fan on too. It is hot in here. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. Where's the SPY at? Really choppy, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Super choppy. I mean, out of the gate, nice spike. Very choppy. You broke out of that consolidation, but you got rejected pretty much instantaneously. And then after that drop on down, I mean, you've been sitting sideways for another 20 minutes. I mean, there's nothing to trade here on the SPY. So yeah, until we see like a proper setup and a proper opportunity present itself, again, just hands off right now. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Stir, what's the opposite of a dead cat bounce? Well, a dead cat bounce is the stock gaps down, dumps, 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 and then eventually just finds a support level and you see a big time daily bounce, dead cat bounce. So what would you call the opposite? Like inverse. I mean, to keep it simple, you can call it the inverse dead cat bounce. It would be maybe a dead cat fall. I don't know, man. The dead cat drop. There we go. Right? You got the dead cat bounce. How about a dead cat drop? Could be the inverse dead cat bounce. Sometimes I call those panic pops, right? We get those panic pops into overhead resistance levels, followed by those big time drops. I mean, not really. Right, a panic pop is a strategy, but I would just say, like, let's keep it simple. Right? We'll just do it the dead cat drop. That'd be the opposite, right? Yo, that's awesome, Catherine. So the nice thing is that you actually pay the kids' tuition for college out of the Roth, yeah, with no penalty, which is amazing. Plus, you're padding her retirement, which you're crushing. The Roth, your husband turned 51 today, and I will retire him at 59 and a half. I freaking, if he wants. Yeah, but I love it. That's absolutely amazing. It's so awesome to see you're trading that Roth. You're able to pay for your daughter's college tuition and cushion your retirement and just set yourself up for long term. You know, it's so awesome to see that. Good stuff. So I'm just holding those Boeing puts. The price point that we got in was at 224.50. We're at 223 right now. So BA is up $1.50 per share. I mean, it's down $1.50 per share, which means we have $1.50 movement in our favor. And the options haven't budged at all. Like, I'm still flat on the trade. I mean, $30, $20, but it's like, yeah, the options aren't really aren't budging a whole lot, especially after that pretty nice big drop on off. So the closer to low of day we get, the more movement we see with these options, and we may be able to start scaling out and taking some profits on these. But, you know, I do think that, you know, coming down to 221.80 makes a lot of sense. If we ever crack and fall below that 221.80, we already know we have this gap fill down at 216. Not saying it's going to fill the gap today, but that would be a target coming into next week. Now, again, coming down to that 220.69 makes a lot of sense. Lower level of support, 218.87, and then all the way down to fill that gap at 216. So still holding the puts. No reason to get out. It's unfortunate that we're not seeing the options really budge, especially after seeing a pretty nice, $1.50 move to the downside, but it's okay. We still have some breathing room here. Trade's intact, looks really good. We do have room back down at least to 221.80 before seeing a possible bigger bounce. And that's assuming we continue to see the SPY rolling on over. So far, so good. QQQ rolling on over. So far, so good.
Now that it's broke that level, your retest is at 312.21 on Microsoft.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because I wanted to see if you were going to take that trade, because I noticed a trade about 5 minutes ago and I was thinking you were going to take it, but I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I waited on it to break this 312.21 and now retest it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we had that initial zone, hold a support, hold a support, hold a support here, but then we fell below it, came back into the top end of that level that we identified and held below it as resistance. But at the same time, it was also back at that trend line where you had that strong rejection, big drop below that zone. So not only were you cracking that support level, watching it turn into resistance, you also came back into that trend line for that nice drop on off.
That was a good one, but I missed it. I was being too patient with the other support level.
Dude, it's all good, man. It's all good. I mean, hey, patience pays, right? We're going to miss a lot of trades. We can't catch them all, but the ones that we actually take are going to be the best of the best trades. Yeah, BA still looks okay. I mean, BA still okay. I mean, we were getting in way up here. Like, that was our entry, right? So we've seen a pretty sizable drop. The only reason I haven't done anything with that trade yet, as far as closing the position, is we're substantially below my entry point. So I have breathing room and the options aren't really budging. I mean, even when we bounce, the options aren't moving. When we drop, the options aren't moving. So I'm still flat on the trade, all in all. So this would have been a much better trade to take shares on, obviously, but trading the Roth today. So we'll see what happens here and see if we can't pull a couple doll hairs out of Boeing. Yeah, price action sucks today. It really does. Price action is garbage. I mean, look at how choppy the SPY is. It's all over the place. So I mean, definitely. We're like less than an hour into the day. We're sitting right about 50 minutes. I would say the market conditions are subpar. What do you guys think? Do you think the market conditions are hot and easily tradable, or do you think the market conditions are choppy and just more or less subpar? I would give it like a subpar rating. I'm not really digging the type of movement here. I mean, I'm just looking at the SPY over the last 50 minutes, and I'm like, where would I have even taken a trade? I'm like, I don't even see an area where I would have, taken a great high probability trade. And anybody can spot a trade in hindsight, and I don't even see anything that I would have taken. Subpar, yeah. Price action's terrible. The contracts aren't moving. That's exactly what we hit on today, is watch the contracts move. Is there a disconnect, right? Or the spread's large? Yeah, there is a disconnect. The spreads are pretty large. The price action, choppy, terrible, right? Subpar market conditions. I like it. Trader Adam said, this price action doo-doo. Yeah, the price action is doo-doo. Can I stick an emoji? These are market conditions today. There we go. That's all I can say about the market conditions for today, guys. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but maybe we can get back up to this this duty face's mouth. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just not digging it. Like, you know me, when I come into the market and we have movement, I'm here. I'm dialed in. I'm ready to trade, guys. Like, we can make some great money. When I'm not really digging market conditions, I will happily sit here on my hands and not take a single trade. I know my limits. I know the markets that I want to trade in and markets where I want to be a sideline trader. I just want to watch the day. Right now, I don't really see a reason for me to be getting in. I mean, are we seeing some moves? Yes, but are they predictable moves? Not really. I mean, this is a pretty random bounce here on the SPY. I say so myself. That was a pretty random area to come down to before bouncing. And we're just kind of all over the place. It's Friday in summer. Yeah, man. Yeah, and August conditions aren't usually the best. You know, things start picking back up typically like end of August, early September. That's when market conditions are pretty decent. But I'm not even going to say market conditions have been sucky. Like the market conditions, oh, I got to remove that doo-doo face. It's still on my daily chart. There we go. But, you know, market conditions this week have been great, right? I mean, Monday, we had a great day Monday. The last 3 days just dumping and fading and falling with force to the downside. Fantastic short opportunities. Today, market conditions are subpar. But this week has been absolutely amazing. So I'll tell you what, William, if NVIDIA would have came up here first into that zone of resistance and topped out before making this move, yes, absolutely. But NVIDIA opens and, I mean, comes against this 428 level. I mean, I didn't have 428 as a level of resistance. I could have missed it. But my level was back up around like that 430 to 433 zone. We came up towards around, 428. So like, is this an area of resistance? I mean, it was pretty darn close. Let's remove that upper level of resistance off of yesterday's low of day and close. And let's look back a little bit further. I mean, we see a lot, and I mean, a lot of prior support resistance right around these highs and lows. So I would call it, you see all of these touch points, right? We had, low of day, high of day, high of day, high day rejection, high day rejection, high day rejection, gap up, low of day push, right? We can mark up this entire zone, right, of support resistance. Okay. And there is a valid zone right here between 427.70 and 428.14. So was it predictable? Yeah, it was. If I would have caught that level, I was just looking at yesterday's low of day and close. But if I would have taken a step back and reviewed NVIDIA, maybe a little bit more detail, coming back into all of these touch points, I probably could have identified that that was a solid level, especially being that gap up low of day before that big push. That point stands out to me. We connect here, connect here, connect here. 2 days of trying to break it, but failing. Connect here. Low of day support before that bounce. Absolutely. Looking back left in hindsight, we opened, we pushed into that zone, and then we dropped. Predictable to a certain extent. Absolutely. I mean, we did hit a pretty solid level of daily resistance before topping on out 4 points at high a day and before getting that nice big drop. I mean, another thing that I see too is 0.3 of a downtrend, right? Again, anybody can do this in hindsight, right? But again, in hindsight, there were a couple of setups on NVIDIA. I was personally waiting again for that 430 to get hit. Well, 430 did not get hit, did it? So if I would have been a little bit more dialed in with my levels, NVIDIA could have been a great setup. I was more or less looking for 430, which was yesterday's low of day. Welcome to OPEX day. I've heard horror stories about premiums being dumb, orders not filling. I'm going to be super light. Yeah. I mean, that's the approach of the day, man, right? It's $2.2 trillion of stock options expiring today, right? Market conditions are subpar. On top of that, we see the disconnect with the way the options are moving, and the spreads are large. We called it this morning. Like, there's that disconnect that we could have expected. We're seeing the disconnect, and the spreads are huge. And on top of it, market conditions are very subpar. So yeah, I mean, today's a day that I'm cool with sitting on my hands and sitting on the sidelines. Yes, if you guys are interested in joining our community, go to alphadaytrading.com and just check us out. Super simple. All the information that you need is on the website, all of the different programs that we have, the courses that are available. Again, all that good stuff. And just learn more about us, who we are, what makes us different. Again, just go to alphadaytrading.com and all the information you need to make a smart, educated decision is there. The link is in my bio as well. Volume is trash. Yes. Today it is. Carlos, what's my opinion on an EMA? I like utilizing certain EMAs with my trading because they're very popular. So like the most popular intraday EMAs are the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. Some traders use the 50 as well. Some will use 100 and a 200, but the most popular, most widely used EMAs for like day trading on your intraday time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 2 minute, be a 9 EMA and a 20 EMA. And so, like, what do I think about EMAs? Like, if they're used correctly and they're used in conjunction, like with other forms of TA, then they can be really valid and help you gain an edge in the market. But if you're just using indicators like the EMAs as, you know, standalone reasons to take a trade, you're not going to find the level of success that you want to find, right? If you're just basing trades off a 9 EMA cross of a 20, like for example, and you're just solely buying based on the 9 crossing the 20, then, you know, you're not going to see the level of success that you want to see. Your win ratio is going to be very, very low. It just, that's not a sustainable way of trading, basing, you know, a trade solely on, you know, a signal from one indicator. But if you could use the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA in conjunction with levels of support resistance and, you know, your intraday trend lines, your higher time frame levels of support resistance, supply demand, you know, volume and price action, right? And you have confluence and multiple separate reasons to take trades, then yeah, EMAs can really be helpful and may give you, you know, that edge that you're looking for in the market. And they're very, very popular, right? The 9 and the 20. If you're using a 55 EMA, it's not very popular. Not a lot of traders use it. All right. And remember, indicators are only respected because traders use them, right? Like 80% of traders use the VWAP. So when a stock comes down to the VWAP, it likes to bounce. It likes to bounce, right? When the stock falls below the VWAP and it comes back into it, it likes to get rejected as resistance. Why is that? Because traders utilize the VWAP as a moving level of support resistance. So when it comes down into that moving level of support, there are buyers present. Same thing when it comes up into that level as resistance, there are sellers present, right? 80% of traders use the VWAP the same way. That's why it's validated. That's why the VWAP's respected, right? It's a very popular indicator. But if I were to, you know, put on just a random indicator, just some random crazy name, the Rune, Mocket, Hidden Moon, Decibel, Pi symbol indicator, whatever. Like, and it's the holy grail indicator that someone's trying to sell you, but there's no one that uses it. It's not going to be respected, right? Because no one's utilizing that indicator as reasoning for entries and exits, for buying and selling, right? So when it comes down to indicators, just make sure you're using like the most popular indicators and that you use them the same way that everybody else uses them, right? And as you can see on my chart, I don't even use indicators, right? On my intraday timeframes, I trade a completely naked chart. Just comes down to support resistance, trend lines, volume, price action, and then intraday setups and strategies that present themselves at these higher time frame levels. That's it. My chart is completely naked. I don't have any indicators on it besides volume. The Sizzler. Ooh, he's sizzling out here with 166,000 profit. That's what I'm talking about, man. Good job.
So I've got a question for you.
Yes.
That trade really came from the SPY and then 2 of my other indicators on Microsoft.
Okay.
I don't know if it's considered that, but I've seen it from the beginning of the day on the SPY. Is there almost like a head and shoulders right there? No.
Let's take a deep dive. I mean, kind of.
That first high of the day, and then the second, and then the third one is, see, I was looking more at that fourth spot.
Like right here?
Yeah, even with the first one. So I took that as a rejection off of that first high.
I see the reasoning. So what I call this right here, a head and shoulders,
Probably not.
I would not, because we already had a lower low here prior to hitting that potential right shoulder, right? That's not normally what you see on a Head and Shoulders. What you normally see is you get the head, you get that initial drop, then you start to bounce into the left shoulder. So somewhere right around here, right? But the fact that we already saw this bounce, lower low, and then a push back up, that would pretty much invalidate a Head and Shoulders. But what I will stress here is your entry, based on the SPY at this level of initial resistance is valid, right? Because what I see is resistance, rejection, 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 break. But did we pull back and hold that level to push higher? We didn't. We had a false breakout. We broke that level, but then came right back below it. And this was the very first time that you were returning to that initial level of resistance. And we know that when we fall back below that level, we come back up for that first touch. Those are valid rejection points.
I seen that rejection, and I marked that level right before that, but then I jumped in on Microsoft knowing that it was following too.
I love it, dude. Yeah, and so honestly, you could look at this as a potential crack and retest where you have resistance, you break resistance, but you don't have a break and retest for the next leg up. You fall right back below it. You crack below that level of what could have been support. We know it's going to turn back in resistance, and this was the first retest at that level. So nice little crack back below resistance, first retest after falling back below, right? Nice little short trade on, the SPY. You see a short opportunity, and that helps back up your trade here on Microsoft. And then you had multiple reasons as well. You said you had some indicators giving you a signal on Microsoft as well, which was awesome.
Well, I had volume, and I have been using this MACD. It's been helping a little bit, but I had 3 different reasons for why I wanted to get in. So.
Hell yeah. And then one of those reasons was the SPY sitting right at resistance.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it, dude. That's the way to trade right there. I love it. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Now I don't want to trade anymore. That's way above my goal.
What's your daily goal?
It was $100 this week.
$100 to start, right? $100. We want to get some consistency for a week or two of consistently pulling in on average $100 days for 2 weeks. Build up that confidence, right? Of yeah, I got this, man. This is easy now. That's how I want you to feel. It's it's easy to make $100 a day. It's too easy. Then when you feel man, it's too easy, right? And you're doing it consistently, that's when we need to scale up your daily goal to say 125 or 150. And we'll just take those baby steps little at a time. So what 2 options you have. Option 1 is to completely walk away and just lock in your 166 or apply the 10% rule on any additional trade moving forward. So the worst you can lose is $20. Worst case scenario, that still puts you at 140 on the day, well above your goal. And let's be honest, if you took another trade, you built a plan, and let's say you got stopped out for $20, you make 140. You're still feeling pretty good that you made $140 today between 2 trades. So you can definitely apply the 10% rule. You're on fire. You're reading the market correctly. And who knows, man, maybe you add another 50, 60, $70 to the bottom line without risking more than 10% of what you've made today.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes, sir. David, just wondering, do you have someone making phone calls to buy into your program? Yeah, so I do have Garrett. He's one of our client success managers that basically just reaches out to individuals that have expressed interest in the program before, just to see if you're interested and answer any questions that you have. But his name is Garrett. He's one of our client success managers. Awesome guy, super, super nice guy. And then you have Destiny, who is also a client success manager as well, who, again, just kind of reaches out to touch base with anyone that's expressed interest in the program to see if we can help you guys, move the needle, right? And answer any questions that you guys may have. Yep. So it would be either a Garrett or a Destiny reaching out to somebody on behalf of our team. Matthew, what's up, brother, man? What's good? So Corey, in the day trading starter kit, the legacy version, the one that we put together a couple of years back, still a really solid course. We've just revamped it over the years. What strategy do you recommend starting with first? Chapter 1, Module 3 is the 9 EMA short. Would I start with that first, or is there one as beginner? I would start with strategies that really present themselves at levels of support resistance. Because number one, what you need to be doing is identifying your highest probability key levels of support resistance. Number one. And then when the market opens, you wait for the market to come to one of those levels. And then what are some strategies that take place at levels of support resistance, right? The head and shoulders formation is something you see at levels of resistance, right? That's a strategy to learn about, right? An inverse head and shoulders, right? Is another one that you'll find at levels of support. So I would really stick to like the most basic strategies, right? Like reversals, a head and shoulders, for example, or an inverse head and shoulders. Those are reversal formations that take place at levels of support resistance. And so if you see one of those formations developing at one of these higher time frame key levels of support resistance, at least you know it carries a lot of weight and that trade will most likely play out in your favor. That's what I would suggest, right, to start. And again, it's all about foundation building. That's it. Like there will come a time where we start learning about more advanced strategies, right? Like that is a very simple trading formation that you see play out, right? It's very simple. A head and shoulders is so simple to understand and learn. It's in all of the trading books, right? But it's like we need to build a solid foundation first of understanding the basics. Then we can start building on top of that foundation and then progressing into more like advanced trading strategies using trend lines, lower high cracks of trend lines, breaks of downtrends, the boom, boom, bang, halt strategies, dip buys, panic pops, washout longs, right? Utilizing fibs, right? We can really dive deep when the time comes to take the next step to learn more about advanced strategies. But you got to build that foundation first. And that's how I would recommend building foundation, right? Master your ability to identify key levels of support resistance. And then master your ability to be patient and be disciplined to wait for the market to come to you. And then wait to see if there's a setup that takes place at one of those levels. And build on top of that. Yeah, welcome to OPEX Day. It was Garrett on the phone call. Yeah, super nice guy too. So super nice guy. And he's really just there to try and help. That's it. He's just like, you may have a problem. We may have a solution, right? Do you want to learn more about the program? If so, what kind of questions do you have, right? Let me explain it, see if it makes sense, and at least give you the information you need to make a smart, educated decision. That's it. And he's a super genuine, just down-to-earth guy that's truly trying to help traders that are struggling find a solution, right? And a lot of traders have found a solution inside of our program over the last few years. So, but yeah, absolutely, David. Carlos, I really appreciate the live. Awesome work. Thanks, boss. Appreciate having you here, man. We do this again every Friday. Free stream Friday on the tube. Yeah, it's looking that way. I mean, we have some stuff moving on up, which is great. I mean, we're coming into some of these key overhead levels of resistance. I mean, which is great. I mean, the SPY still got some time to go. The Qs are starting to open on up, right? And we starting to see some other stocks like Amazon start to open on up. Apple starting to open on up. And Apple is actually sitting right at its level of resistance. So again, I'm very hesitant to take anything long today. I set those expectations right at the start of the day. I'm just hesitant to go long, right? Seeing like the last 3 days, seeing decent long setups, but never getting confirmation to take those longs, and the market just overall just dropping hard the past few days. So I'm honestly waiting for the market to come into some of these overhead levels of key resistance, right? First, if we start topping on out and rolling on over, I would rather play to the short side today than the long side, So again, I'm still sitting back on my hands, waiting for the next best trade. Yeah, same thing, Corey. I'm looking for the SPY to push back up into yesterday's close and low of day, close that gap from the gap down, and then see if we get rejected. If we do, I'm wanting to take some puts. If not, I walk away today with one trade still open. That's on BA, and we'll see what the outcome is. Yeah, every link is in the bio. And if you're over on YouTube, you see here that you can just go over to alphadaytrading.com, check everything out. Or if you're using a computer right now to watch the stream on YouTube, you can actually pull out your phone and then take your camera and just point it right here at this QR code. And that's going to take you right on over to learn more about the Market Mastery program if you guys are interested in the Market Mastery program. So, number one, just go to the website, alphadaytrading.com. Or if you're on YouTube, pull out your phone, put it over that QR code, click the link, and take the next steps to learn more. Just need one solid trade today. That's it. There's just a few $100 profit, super easy to make a few $100, but just need that one killer trade. And I mean, we're over an hour in, and I just haven't seen the one killer trade just yet. But we'll see. I mean, even Corey's sitting back on his hands. Like, I'm just waiting for the gap fill short. That's it. That's all I'm waiting for as well. If we get it, we get it. If not, you know, hey, it's one of those days where you come in, you're eager, you want to take some great trades, but you just don't see those great opportunities setting up. I know, dude. I know. Everybody's like, I'm so bored today. The market's boring. So yeah, dude. Like, if you guys have any questions, like, let me know. Let me know if you guys want to jump on the mic for a nice little afternoon member interview. Like, let's go. If you guys want to jump on the mic and share your story of just like your trading career and before joining, during, after, where you're at now, where were you before, just really just share your story to members inside of the community, to anybody over on YouTube or TikTok. Like, hey, let me know. I'll be more than happy to shoot you an invite link, let you jump on the call. And like I said, just share your story. It's very motivational and inspirational to hear, stories from individuals that, started off knowing nothing about trading stocks. And then here they are making hundreds of dollars a day consistently, thousands of dollars a day. It's truly inspirational. And you can learn from what they did that's gotten them to this level of success. So if anybody's interested, I'll bring you in. We'll have some fun with it. Keep chat hyped up and engaged. But if you guys have any questions in the meantime, let me know as well. Good job, Steve. Got a couple $100 there on the halt strategy, WHLR. Gotta love those scanners, man. You gotta love those scanners. Good stuff, dude. It's Alpha Day Trading over on YouTube, guys. Oh, yeah, I got an official update. Just so everybody knows, I will be taking probably the first day or two of October off. I won't be here. We'll be moving. So you guys are fully aware. So obviously trying to get it done through that weekend, but Mondays and Tuesday, without the kiddos and stuff like that. So I may be off the 2nd of October, the 3rd of October, as we're making this move, getting things set up, having the internet dudes come out, set up the internet. I should have my office completely set up to where I can be here Tuesday, hopefully, but at the latest Wednesday, the 4th. So just give you guys a heads up, October 2nd, October 3rd, I may not be here. Definitely not on that Monday, but I may be able to squeeze in on that Tuesday if I'm able to get everything planned and set up to be here for that day. Just give you guys a heads up. So just sitting back, patiently waiting. The patience. The market is testing your patience today, guys. Dun, 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 dun. You need the address for a Christmas present? Ah, Steve, you're such a nice guy. I'll send you the address. I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, and I got my whole game plan figured out last night. I'm like, we're going to go ahead and rent the home and not buy the home because I want to start building a real estate portfolio. But I got 3 years to talk the buyer into letting me assume the loan terms. So I'm like hoping like at 3 to 5 years because we got an extended 3-year lease. And I'm like, we're just going to rent. I'm not, getting a home with an 8% rate, not paying 600 grand for a home. It's just crazy. I'm going to build that real estate portfolio. But yeah, I'm going to try and convince the owner to sell me the property. So eventually we'll live there. That's the goal. And then I can build that portfolio in the next 3 years. I know you guys were talking to me yesterday about buy it now. I'm like, it's, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't justify spending $700,000 on a house that, 2 years ago was worth 300 at an 8% rate. So if I can convince this buyer to let me assume the original loan terms, assuming it's a government-backed loan, hells to the yeah. That'll be the move, baby. But yeah, I will be out the first couple of days of October. David, yeah. So you see the scanners here. These are our intraday scanners. These are Trade Ideas Pro AI scanners. I pay like $20-some $100 a year for these AI scanners. We get our pre-market scanners, our post-market scanners, and then we have some custom intraday scanners that we had coded for us. And so I offer this to members inside of the community via the live stream from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so you get the pre-market scanners from 7 to 9:30, intraday scanners from 9:30 to 4, and then those post-market scanners from 4 to 7. Instead of you having to go pay $200 a month or $2,400 a year to have your own scanners and then have to code them and set them up or even hire them to code scanners for you, we have some of the most popular scanners already pre-built, pre-coded. And a guy stream these in a no delay stream. It's like 2 to 3 seconds of a delay. So you get these scanners in real time through the live stream in the community. And like I said, that saves you like $180 to $200 a month, not needing to go out there and have a subscription to have your own scanners when they're being streamed live 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. And Steve's like one person that'll be like, the scanners make it worth it. I mean, Steve today came into the market, first trade in a while, WHLR. Where did Steve identify a trade on WHLR, right? Is it gapping up off to the left? It is. Is it on the halt scanner? It is. So again, he saw that WHLR got halted. He loves halt strategies, and he sees a fantastic halt strategy on WHLR because, hey, it was presented to him on the scanners. I mean, this dude loves the scanners. I'll tell you what. If I ever have a day that I show up late and the scanners aren't live for like 5 minutes, literally, I could be 5 minutes late. He's like, where's the scanners? You got to have my scanners. I love it. Tell them those scanners are the bomb. They're good. Like I said, they're $2,400 a year for a reason. They are some of the best scanners that you can get your hands on. And again, we've been building these out for years, and we've had them build out a lot of the scanners for us as well. Yo, what's up, brother, man? How you doing? Good to see you, Tech. What platform offers unlimited day trades? I mean, there's not a certain platform that's going to offer unlimited day trades. It really depends on how your account's structured, number one, right? So the only time that you can get an account with a couple of $1,000 that's margin that has unlimited day trades or no PDT rule. That's the proper term, is no PDT rule, no restriction for day trades, to where you don't have a restriction on how many times you can trade. You would have to go with like an offshore broker like CMEG, Capital Markets Elite Group, out of Trinidad and Tobago in Spain, right? That's an offshore broker that gives you access to US listed stocks. You can have $5,000 in that account. They'll give you 4-to-1 buying power. It's a margin account. They're not regulated by the SEC. They don't abide by the PDT rule. That's unlimited day trades, right? But it's risky to use an offshore broker, right? Very, very risky. Here in the US, if you sign up with a broker and you have less than $25,000 in a margin account, you are restricted to 3 day trades for every 5 trading days. Okay. So you are restricted. Now, if you have over $25,000, there's no restriction. You can trade as much as you want, right? But if you have less than $25,000, you will be restricted on a margin account. So if you're under 25K on a margin account and you don't want to be restricted to 3 day trades, all you need to do is convert your margin account to a cash account, and then you can trade as much as you want as long as you have settled cash, right? So as long as cash is settled in the account, you can technically trade as much as you want until the cash runs out. Once it resettles, you can trade again. That will push you up over the 3 trades. Okay. But eventually you will run out of cash. So there is a limit, but it depends on how you have your account structured. So there are creative ways to getting around the PDT rule, depending on your account type, depending on what you trade, how much capital you have. But the real only way to have a margin account less than 25K to have no PDT rule is to use an offshore broker, which is super risky. So the best way to get into the market with little amounts of money and not have, that PDT restriction is learn how to trade options on a cash account. And then once your cash is gone for the day, you're done trading, but your cash will settle overnight and it's available the next day. Compared to shares, it takes a full day for your money to settle if you trade shares. So if you use all your money on Monday with shares, Tuesday you can't trade, your money's settling, but you can trade again Wednesday with the cash. Options will settle overnight. So every day you have your cash settled if you're trading options. So obviously, I do not want to be taking calls in this market because I don't think we're going to see a super strong bounce. Again, I could be wrong. And if we ever see like, okay, the market's definitely, buyers are in control, we're ripping and running, we have great long opportunity, let's get long. But right now, if we ever see this trend line crack here on the SPY off a lower high, I want to get short on the SPY. So at any point in time we see a lower high, back down to the trend line, and that trend line starts to crack, I will trade the SPY short, as I think we could crack and really dump on off. So we shall see. You got HKIT hitting the high of the day momentum scanner, 77 new highs of day over on HKIT. And right now, HKIT is halted. Mr. Steve, you got HKIT, 77 new highs of day, and now it's currently halted. It'll be live at 11 o'clock. It'll be live. Tech says he comes to watch the best mentor since he's live. I appreciate you being here, H. Always do, baby. Absolutely love you, man. You got a wonderful wedge here on the SPY. Such a wonderful, wonderful wedge. Scar. Do I have a course for beginners? Yeah. And so our courses are actually built inside of our program. So it's not like we just sell a chat room package or an alert service or just individual courses, it's not beneficial to anybody that just takes a course without a community or a chat room without, university level education, right? It just, these things go better in tandem with one another. You absolutely move the needle. So, do we have courses? Absolutely, but the courses are built in to our program, right? The courses go in tandem with the live sessions, with the community, everything else that's offered. So if you go to alphadaytrading.com, go to the memberships tab and just scroll down and look at the different membership packages. And when you come down, you can actually have a comparison of those packages, like the monthly compared to the yearly, compared to market mastery. And you can just scroll down and see what the main differences are. And all of those questions will be answered for you, my man. So I want to get a SPY trade up and ready just in case for a lower high crack of the trend line. That would be a trade I'd be willing to take. So let's see what we got. We have to go 3 days out. So we'll be going into August 21st. That's going to put you here on Monday. I'm not going to trade dailies. I'm going to trade at least coming in the next week. We're looking at puts. And if we ever see a lower high crack of the trend line, that would be a trade I'd be willing to take. We shall see what we got coming on up. If we see that take place, I have an order typed up, ready to go. And we'll be all set, ready to rock.
We're losing buying volume, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I mean, volume's tapering coming into 11 o'clock, especially on a Friday. Volume tapers on off a lot harder leading up to 11 o'clock on Fridays. So, yeah, it's one of those days, man. You sit here for an hour and a half and just very, very limited opportunity. Dude, that's amazing. Look at that. Second halt strategy, HKIT from Steve. That's awesome. Right from the scanners. He's already up what? $500 on the day. $500, and he found these trades on those scanners. So good job, Steve. I love it, Tech. I love it. Yeah, I mean, the courses are how you build the foundation. The courses you can, go through at your own pace, at your own time, at any hour of the day, any day of the week. I mean, that's amazing. And everything's structured and guided, and it's in order from what you need to learn first to what you need to progress in. And then, yeah, you have questions about, a topic, you come follow up inside a chat with me on the live stream as we're doing live trading and education, or you follow up with a member inside of the community to help you get those questions answered, to, again, see live examples of what you just learned in the course in real market conditions by following up inside of the live sessions. So again, the courses go in tandem with the live streams, the live sessions, the community, everything else. SPY is still getting some great action to the upside here. Still going. So, I mean, at this point in time, hey, we're seeing some consistent movement to the upside, consistent movement, consistent strength. I am A-okay now at this point in time. If we see a good long setup, I'm definitely okay with taking a long, right? If we see a good long setup present itself. Or I'm going to let it close the gap up into yesterday's low of day and then yesterday's close. And if we close that gap, top out, roll over, I will happily jump into some puts for the next leg down. But right now, I'm just hands off. If we see a long opportunity prior to hitting this overhead level of resistance, I would consider taking a long. But if we don't have a long setup prior to this level being hit, I'll just sit back and wait to see if we do top on out and see if we start to roll on over. But right now, I got to be hands off. We do have this uptrend as support. All right, we do have uptrend support. And then prior resistance can turn into new support as well. So if we do see the SPY pull back into the trend line and back into this prior level of resistance, and we see it turn support back down around 435, we could look to take the SPY long up to 435.75 and then to close the gap up at yesterday's close, which would put you at 436.27. So meanwhile, as the market is working its way on up, you got Tesla just kind of fading and falling here a little bit, doing its own thing today. Yeah, if you guys want to see my screen, go to YouTube, type in Alpha Day Trading, and then join our live session over on YouTube where I'm streaming everything to you guys today. We do that every single Friday between 8:45 and right around 11 o'clock. And then Monday through Thursday, we go live for about 30 minutes in the morning from 8:45 to 9:15 as we give you guys the overview for the day. And that's when you'll be able to see the screen and see the charts. I mean, that's been the that's all we've been talking about all day, just waiting patiently for the market to give us something. I did come in a little, bearish today. I wouldn't say I was biased. I always stay neutral, but I was leaning more towards the short side, not really because I was, biased, but because I wasn't confident in really taking anything long after the last 3 days of us just dumping, giving a lot of these gains back, and really just looking for better shorts today than trying to catch the market long. When the last 3 days, any good long setup, it's failed. There've been short-lived bounces. Today, we're defying the odds. We're still ripping on up. We're moving on up with some strength. Buyers are here, and so hey, if we set up to the long side, we'll happily take some calls on up into yesterday's low of day and yesterday's close. But that's going to be an area that if we fail to break through, I would definitely be interested in put contracts up against, again, yesterday's low of day and yesterday's close. If we hit that level, top on out, and then start to roll on over, I would love to play some puts for the leg back down. Does anybody inside the chat have any questions? Anything that I can help you guys with? Right now, I'm in the same boat as Corey, just patiently waiting. Not sure what I helped you with, but hey, man, as long as I helped, that's all that matters. That's awesome stuff. I love it. Chris, where exactly can I find the scanners? Right where you're looking, man. Right at my live stream. So between 7 and 9:30, we'll have pre-market scanners loaded. During the day between 9:30 and 4, you'll see the scanners right here on my live stream. And then post-market, you'll have post-market scanners. So if you're like, but Josh, I can't see the scanners, man. Like they're too tiny. It's okay. You see this little scrollable toggle down here? Right? You can actually hit that scrollable toggle to zoom in on the scanners. But first, make sure you're set to 1080p quality. So manually set your quality to 1080p or 1440. Right? 1440, depending on your internet connection, may buffer and throw you off of live. I recommend just doing the 1080p option. You're normally going to be set to live, then come down and hit that scrollable toggle. Now it's going to put the live stream in a scrollable container, and you can just zoom down and you can see those scanners. So here in a second, when it updates, there you go. And so, yep, you'll be able to zoom in and be like, okay, I can see the scanners. You can zoom right, and you can see these scanners up close. And then, oh, look at my beautiful face by hitting that scrollable toggle. So making sure I didn't miss anything. Did you see the question on Netflix? I'm scrolling up. Willie, yes, I missed that, man. My bad. So Netflix in a wedge and respecting it. Is there some other confluence you see with Netflix? Well, it's probably a little too late now because I'm 30 minutes late getting to your question. So that's my bad, brother, man. That's my bad. But this could still be a great learning opportunity. So one thing that you guys can do as well is if you have a question, right, tag me in it as well. So just do, tag me. And then if I'm tagged in something, I at least know it's a question. Because sometimes I don't know if you guys are just throwing out like analysis, and sometimes I do overlook it. But would we have had any other like confluence on Tesla? Well, the only thing that I would have done is just mark up yesterday's low of day and close, number one, knowing that that's going to be a resistance level. So honestly, on Netflix, I probably would have been hands off because the wedge, even though we were breaking out of the wedge to the upside, we are still in this level of resistance, knowing that we were just limited to the upside. Even if we broke, there wasn't a lot of upside potential because you are still sitting under a lot of that resistance from yesterday. So in hindsight, yeah, you had a wedge. Would I have seen confluence? Yes. And that level of resistance would have kept me out of this trade for a wedge break to the long side. If anything, I would have maybe waited to see a rejection off yesterday's close for some puts. But again, anything, and you can see anything in hindsight. But yeah, I mean, there would have been something there that would have kept me away from that trade. No, you're never muted, man. You're never muted. Again, sometimes I overlook a couple questions here and then. It happens. But then you do have trading tools, Chris. So there is a whole section of trading tools: charting, company profile research, the economic calendar, fundamental data research, market data research. You got your stock screener as well. These are all, customizable. You can go through and customize these to your preferences. So they're all interactive trading tools, which is pretty cool. But as far as my $2,000 a year scanners, those are going to be located on the live stream, boss. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. So there's one of two things you can do. You can zoom in, right? Or you can just pop out your stream in a new tab, blow it up on a different monitor, and then boom, right here in front of you. So we may have the short on the SPY, the gap fill short, guys. So again, I'm looking at Monday's expirations. We're probably going to be going with a 433 put. 433s. They got that 30 delta. I can step up on the position sizing and then decrease my risk a little bit by going with that lower delta. So I'd probably go with a 433 put. if we do hit that upper level. And when I say the upper level, you got two areas. You got yesterday's low of day. I want to see the gap close off the body. Yesterday's close, that's up at 436.25-ish. So that's where I want to be getting short on the SPY. Like if we hit this low of day from yesterday and just get rejected and start to drop, I'm going to miss the trade. But if we can break through yesterday's low of day and push up into yesterday's close and truly fill the gap into yesterday's body, again, that's yesterday's close, that's going to put you up towards around 436.25-ish. That's where I want to be getting short here on SPY. So right now, I'm just waiting to see if we can push on up towards around that 436.25, and then that's where I'd be looking to get short. Carlos, you have problems identifying trends on lower time frames. You get faked out most of the time. Any advice? So, like, what do you mean you have identifying problems identifying trends? Like, do you have problems identifying trend lines, or just you have a problem with identifying the overall trend as a whole? If you're specifically talking about trend lines, then we can hit on that. If you're specifically talking about like the overall trends, then we can hit on that as well. There you go, man. Overall trends. Yeah, so you got two types of markets, right? You got range-bound markets and then trending markets, right? We know range-bound markets will range between levels of support and resistance. Boop, 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 boop. We're more or less trending, more or less sideways between support resistance, right? And then we have ranging markets that consist of higher lows and higher highs, or lower lows and lower highs. So you just need to identify, intraday swing highs and swing lows, and then wait for a break above a swing high or a crack below a swing low. And that could be indication that you're going to start a trend. So here's low a day, swing low. Here's high a day, swing high. Here's a pullback low. That's a higher low. You come right back up to high a day, hit it as resistance. But right here, you get a new swing high, right? So what we can see here is we have a low. We have a high, right? We have a higher low. So HL, higher low. And then here we have a HH, higher high. And so now that we see we have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, we can say that the market's trending to what side? To the upside today, right? Because we actually see this higher high come through. Okay. So look at the bigger picture. Low, high, higher low, higher high. We could safely say the market's trending higher today at this point in time, right? But what a lot of traders do is they don't look at significant points. Let's be honest. Low day is a significant point. High day is a significant point. We get this higher low and then this higher high. We can see that we're uptrending, right? But what a lot of traders will do, they'll come in and be like, okay, here's a low, high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Oh, lower, low, lower. Oh, we're in an uptrend. Now we're in a downtrend. Now we're in an uptrend. Now we're in a downtrend. Now we're not, they're all over the place, right? Take a step back, zoom out, look at the bigger picture, right? Bigger picture. Significant points. Is this a significant point? Is that a significant point? What about these lows? Are these significant lows? I would say not. Identify your significant points first, right? Low of day, that's a significant point. High of day, significant point. What have we done since then? Well, we put in a higher low and a higher high since then. So we can clearly see we are now in an uptrend. Does that make more sense? Versus being like so zoomed in on, oh, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Oh, we're in an uptrend, right? Well, you're not looking at significant points right here. You think you're in an uptrend, you get in, and then you just get dumped on, right? Look at your significant points. Just watching me on TikTok and YouTube helps so much. Thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support.
Are you gonna fill it or not?
The SPY.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come on up because I would like to get the entry to the penny and put stops maybe 20, 25 cents over that level. So if we come up and hit it to the penny, I'm going to jump into those puts. So short position, entry to the penny. You know, if it doesn't hit that level to the penny and get rejected, I want to be out pretty quick. So I'd probably give it, you know, maybe 25 cents of breathing room, and we would have some potential back down. First target would be yesterday's low of day. And then if we are able to crack yesterday's low of day, I would say we can come back down into this pullback low here. And that would give us just about a 5-to-1, 25 cents of risk, a little over $1 of reward. But at least we know our first target is a 2-to-1 back down to yesterday's low of day. So 1-to-1, I take profit, 2-to-1, take profit, go risk free as soon as possible, and then hold a runner to see if we fade and fall today. So if we get up to that 436.25, I will be looking to enter Zoput contracts on the SPY. Carl, does it honestly make sense? If I need to break it down a little bit more thoroughly, I will. But it's crazy, man, that when you just take a super simplified approach, you take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and then just start identifying key points, it makes identifying the trend a lot easier. Here's Tesla, for example. Okay, let's start with identifying some points. Okay, low of day, high of day. What have we done since then? Well, we've put in lower highs, right? We've put in some lower lows. Okay, so since we put in this low day and high day on Tesla, what have we done? You know, we haven't broken a high to put in a higher high, and we haven't cracked this low to put in a lower low, but we have some higher lows. I would say we're more range bound. Wouldn't you agree? We're ranging between high day and low day. In order for Tesla to start trending, ideally you want to see a crack below low of day, put in some lower lows followed by lower highs. Then we start to see the downtrend, or the complete opposite, right? Being able to break over this prior high and put in a higher high after putting in some higher lows. So that would be an area where we can start to say, hey, Tesla could start uptrending here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that would be an example on, you know, taking a step back, finding those two key points on Tesla. What have we done since then? We've really just been sitting sideways. We are ranging on Tesla, right? Very choppy. Take a look at NVIDIA. Here's, you know, high a day. And I know we're doing this, you know, at 11 o'clock. Here's low of day. But, you know, we're still kind of in a sense ranging. I know we have the short-term trend right here. So we can say we're in the short-term uptrend. Right here, we were in the short-term downtrend, right? But just looking at the entire day, we need to still get a higher high or a lower high before we can actually say that we can start uptrending even more or trending down even lower, right? Right now, we just got to break over one of those highs or lows. But, you know, short term, you can say that we were short term downtrending. Here was your high. Here's your low of day. Here's your high of day. There's a new low. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So you're starting to see the short-term intraday downtrend, right? Boop, drop on off. Here's a low. There's a high. There's a higher low. There's a higher high. There's a higher low. Now we can clearly see the trend is starting to reverse, right? Short-term wise. And plus, NVIDIA is making some pretty big moves out of the gate. But Scar, it wouldn't be fair to you if I tried to give you a full breakdown on identifying support resistance in 10 minutes, right? Because in 10 minutes, we're wrapping up the session, 11:30 on Fridays. So it wouldn't do you any justice at all, like trying to, you know, have explain support resistance again in the next couple minutes. But if you do go over, you're on YouTube already. If you scroll all the way down to the very bottom of my YouTube channel and go to 2021 day trading lessons. I mean, these are a little outdated. I mean, these lessons were done 2 years ago, but it's still going to give you the information you need to build a foundation. So scroll all the way down to the 2021 day trading lessons. And we have a quick hit lesson down here. It's about 16 minutes long to teach you my process of identifying levels of support resistance. Is it the full in-depth, curriculum, lesson that's in our courses? It's not. It's a shorter version, but it will still give you some more information than what you have right now to help with your ability to identify those levels. Yeah, Mario, if you're talking to a Destiny or Garrett, one of our, some of our team leaders and some of our client success managers, then yes, if you've been engaging with a Destiny or a Garrett, that is a few members on our team. Yes. Take my heart. So again, I'm just waiting for the SPY to get up to that 436.25. I don't want to touch it before it gets to that level. So I'm just sitting back, waiting patiently for that to take place. If not, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the day, and that'll be it, guys. So we may get there. This may be the trade coming on up. Come on, SPY, give it to us. We've been waiting patiently for 2 freaking hours for you to come into one of our levels. Finally, you're coming on up. Beautiful. You roll on over now. Don't you do it. Get your ass up to 436.25, SPY. Yeah, it could have been one of the messages that we sent out. Yeah, it could have been a message that I sent out to a few individuals. Yeah, if there was like no introduction, if it was just like, hey, this is Josh, then yeah, that was me. But if you like reach back out, then someone will connect with you, introduce themselves, and help you take the next steps. I mean, there's quite a few stocks that look like they're getting ready to roll on over. I mean, look at Amazon, right? Lower high crack of the trend line. Looks like it's starting to top out, roll over. Microsoft starting to get a little bit of the, some of these lower highs back into the trend line. If we crack that trend line, we could start to drop on off, pull back. Tesla's still dropping on off. Starting to see NVIDIA starting to look a little weak up here. Lower high reversal possibility. Same thing with Apple, starting to see some of these lower highs slow into the upside. Possible lower high trend line crack. So we're seeing Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple all appearing like we are topping out, starting to roll on over. And we could see some lower high cracks of these uptrends. And then boom, see these stocks start to drop on off pretty nice, which is going to mean the SPY will start to pull back as well, which would be really unfortunate because I was really patient for 436.25. We never got there. So no entry. So we had 2 levels identified. We had yesterday's low of day, 435.75. We had yesterday's close, the top end of the gap fill, 436.28. Here's the deal. Did we ever get up to that 436.28? Nope. But we broke yesterday's low of day, came back below it, back above it, back below it, into what? Uptrend support. So if we see this trend line hold, if we bounce back up into yesterday's low of day, which is at 435.75, and we stay below that level, putting in a lower high, and then we see a crack of this trend line, that's still great confirmation for puts. It may not get to yesterday's close. Yesterday's low of day may be that main level of resistance. So if we see a lower high right now developing below 435.75, and then we start to crack this uptrend on that lower high, that can make for a wonderful short opportunity. Again, back down towards around the low 435s, then down towards around this 434.50, down to 433.88, and then possibly back down to even some of these lower lows, right? 433.50, and then low of day at 433 on the dot. So let's see what the SPY is going to do here at this 435.75 resistance. That is yesterday's low of day. There's your lower high. Now we're starting to crack this trend line a little bit, but we need to readjust this trend line. We're actually still sitting right at it. BJ, so why not just buy 30 days out and wait for the drop? So buy 30 days out and wait for the drop today, or buy 30 days out and wait for the drop over the next 30 days? Is that your question? Why not just go 30 days out and then hold these for 30 days and wait for the drop? Well, do we even know if it's going to drop further? We don't know what's going to happen over the next 30 days with the SPY. It's 50-50. Could we drop lower? Yeah. Could we bounce? Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen in 30 days. So just to go 30 days out and wait for a drop, we don't know if we're going to see a big drop, right? We just don't know what's going to happen. We take it one day at a time. I'm not a swing trader, right? I'm a day trader, right? And, right now, like, this could be the low, and like over the next, week or two, we can see the SPY ripping on back up. You never know. So just going 30 days out and hoping that we get a drop and waiting for a drop, you may not ever get it, right? And there has to be like a solid reason, like a super solid reason for me to take a swing trade to the short side, right? Just thinking the market's going to drop is not enough reasoning, right, to get in short. Just saying, hey, I think the market's going to bounce here is not enough validation and reasoning to get long. I have to have more solid reasons to take a trade. So just going 30 days out and I guess hoping for a drop, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bet that the market is going to drop just because it's already been dropping. And I think there's going to be more downside. We could see the market push for the next 30 days or sit sideways for the next 30 days. You don't know what's going to happen at all. So I personally am a day trader and I take it one day at a time. Right. And it's, again, hey, if we come up into these overhead levels of resistance, I want to day trade this for a 50-cent, maybe dollar drop. I want to be looking for solid, high probability day trade opportunities to lock in my profits. But if I ever see a higher time frame setup to where I want to get short, there has to be a higher time frame setup for me to get short, say go 30, 45 days out. But just to jump in right now, 30 days and say, well, we'll just hold and see if it drops, there's not enough reasoning to get in right here. Thinking, hey, there's still more downside. We don't know what's going to happen coming into next week. We don't know how the SPY is going to even close today. So we just got to take it one day at a time. And that's the key, right? Whenever the drop arrives, what if it comes in 45 days? Well, your options just expired worthless because it took 45 days before the market decided to roll on back over. Who knows? We just don't know what's going to happen. We're not here to predict the market. We're here to react to it. And so as day traders, again, we're just waiting for these levels to get hit, waiting for an opportunity to present itself, and then simply react, right? This is a Shure SM7B. So yeah, the microphone is a Shure SM7B. This is a Rode. Oh, this is an Elgato. This is an Elgato. Boom arm, whatever they call it. It's Elgato. And then you're going to need a audio interface for the Shure. It doesn't go right into a computer. It uses a DSLR, not DSLR, but whatever this is, XLM. I don't know what it is, but it's a different type of audio cable that you have to plug into an audio interface, and then from the audio interface into your PC. So I use the Scarlett Focusrite Solo for my audio interface, but you can go buy a just, an audio interface that they have at like, Best Buy and plug this into the back. But I use the Scarlett Focusrite Solos. Yeah, Absolutely. Well, I'm going to start wrapping up my day, guys. I mean, I was very, very patient to see if the SPY could get up to that 436.25. We never got there. I know that we started to crack this uptrend, but I passed. And honestly, I'm happy I passed because we're starting to push back up a little bit. We have those days, guys. We come on in. We're super excited. We're expecting a lot of movement. And we just sit here and be like, yeah, I haven't really spotted a crystal clear opportunity. So Corey got it. Good job, man. Corey got it. Right off that Friday's low of day. Good stuff, man. Yeah, so really good question, William. Like if I was looking to get in, which I was at 436.25, yeah, there is some limitation to the downside, right? The first area of support was going to be yesterday's low of day, so that gives us 50 cents. So I mean, we were initially limited by about 50 cents of profit potential into our first target, but our risk was only 25 cents, which gave us a solid 2-to-1. And then the other target was going to be the trend line, which would have put you down another probably what 25 cents to the downside. That would have given you a 3-to-1 into the trend line. And then, yeah, you were pretty limited into the trend line, right? So you were limited to a 3-to-1 setup, right? First target, 2-to-1, trend line target on that trade. If it would have, played on out, would have been 3-to-1, but still decent enough to take the trade. And it's a high probability setup at that level. And then if we ever crack the trend line, then our other target was going to be down here at 435, giving us a full $1.25 to the downside with only 25 cents of risk. That would have been a nice 5-to-1. So were we limited? Yeah, but we still had great potential to at least get a solid 2-to-1, if not a 3-to-1 there on SPY. The 9 to 5 entrepreneur. Thanks for the info. You learned a lot. That's the goal, guys. When we go live on Free Stream Friday, at least you guys are learning and moving the needle. Now, obviously, it's not as in depth as if you were a part of the community, getting access to all of the curriculum, the courses, the live sessions, the community. But as long as you're moving the needle little by little on these Friday sessions, that's amazing. And then get to the point where taking the next step to join, if that's what you want to do, makes sense, right? But at least in the meantime, come in, learn what you can on Fridays during these sessions, and apply yourself, right? Make some money. Yeah, Boeing's been done forever. Yeah, Boeing, has been done for the past, hour. So any final questions? Let me know. If not, we are going to start wrapping it up, guys. We are coming into the slowest time of the day, especially on a Friday. So I already know the price action is going to be a little bit more random. The movements not as clean, not as consistent, probably not as much follow through. We'll probably experience a lot more chop on a pretty choppy day already. Overall, the market was okay. The first hour, 45 minutes, market was super choppy. Then we started to move a little bit. It was looking pretty good. But the market already set the tone for me the first 45 minutes of chop, 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 to where I just really sat back on my hands today, not really digging the market conditions. And that's that.
I appreciate it, buddy. You have a good day.
Hey, you too, man. Enjoy those amazing profits you made today. Good job and good work, dude.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll see you later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Amazon's got room back down to 131.61 right now. 131.61 is the next level that, Amazon can come down to prior to seeing a bounce. You just cracked this uptrend on a lower high. So now I would expect to see it kind of fade and fall back down towards around that 131.60 support level there on Amazon. Tesla had support. It was light support, but there was some daily support at 212.55. This could be an area where we see a decent little intraday bounce, which we did. We came down to the penny, 212.55, and we are starting to bounce a little bit, but it's a light level of support. It's not significant. It's not super strong. It's light. If we crack below 212.55, come down to 210 on Tesla. If we hold 212.55, we've got to break back above today's low of day. If we see 212.55 hold, and then we break and hold 213.50, today's low of day, I would say then you've got some decent, keyword decent opportunity back up towards around 214.80, towards around 215. So if you see this on Tesla, you could look to get long for the break and retest over 213.50 up to that 214.82. However, if you see this on Tesla, you want to get short, right? If we fail to break back above today's low of day and we eventually crack this 212.55 and then turns resistance and we retest it as resistance, that's when you would look to get short down to like 210 there on Tesla. So if we see one of those two things play out, we would have a decent opportunity here on Tesla. But right now, just watching it. William, thank you for your generous sharing of knowledge today. All day, every day, baby. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed today's session, even though we didn't really trade. We only had BA. That was a stop. It was profitable. We had a whole $1.50 in our favor, but the options weren't moving. So good thing we kept the position light, right? Kept the position really light to where our loss was very minimal. But yeah, I mean, it was a good day. Oh, you guys hear that in the background? Wow, I'm surprised you guys can hear that. Did I get short on SPY? No, it's already after 11:30. My short was going to be the lowest risk, highest reward short opportunity. That was going to get short at 436.25. We didn't get there. We were like 25 cents away. And then I was looking for this crack and retest back up at 435.76. We got pretty close here, but I still just didn't pull the trigger. We were closing in on 11:30 on a Friday, volume starting to die on off. So I just decided to pass, right? I'm going to be leaving here in the next couple of minutes anyway. If I would have gotten this trade right here, I would be in it. Absolutely. But the fact that this trade was really close to 11:30 and we're going to start wrapping it up anyway, I decided to just hold off on the trade. So I never got short on SPY. And I'm happy I didn't get short. Like, yeah, it's a profitable trade. Yeah, those options are up, 40% right now. But again, it wasn't like the best setup. I mean, it was decent, but it wasn't like the best, lowest risk, highest reward trade, right? The lowest risk, highest reward trade was taking that entry up at 436.25 with that 25 cents of risk down into this 435 level. That was the 5-to-1, right? Getting in here, right, and putting a proper stop takes you from a possible 5-to-1 to a 2-to-1, and it wasn't as clean of a setup. So the risk was more, the reward was less, probabilities were not as high. I talked myself out of the trade for those reasons. Yo, Justin, I love it. Absolutely love the hype. Woo! Let's go, baby. Got me ready to rock. Come back next Friday, next week. Yeah, man, would love to have you here. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when we go live. So what is the difference between watching the stream on YouTube and a paid membership? Great question. On YouTube, what do you get? You get live commentary. You get to trade with us live for the day, but I'm not really focused on your questions. Don't take it the wrong way, but I put my focus on my students, right? I let you guys tap in on Fridays to listen, to observe, to learn. And if we have the opportunity to answer your questions like we did today, we'll answer those questions. But it's one day during the week, right? From 8:45 until about 11:30. So that's what? 3 hours. That's only 3 hours a week. You're missing out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're missing out on all of the lessons. You're missing out on the community. You're missing out on the courses. You're missing out on the trading tools inside of the platform. You're missing out on the vault trainings, right? I mean, this is about 5% of what you can expect to get inside of Alpha University and our program. It's about just 5%. So that is the biggest differences for, again, one day a week for a couple hours, that one day, but still yet my focus and my undivided attention still goes to students in the community. You're more or less sitting and watching, observing, listening, learning. And if we do have time to answer your questions, I will definitely get to those like we had an opportunity to do so today. But again, there's another 4 days, right? Pre-market, post-market, the scanners, the courses, the vaults, the trading tools, the live sessions, the educational trainings that we do, the quick hit lessons, the Q&A sessions, the community. Again, there's so much value inside of this community. And again, the biggest thing is the program, right? Not just everything I listed, but the program, right? A proven step-by-step process that if you follow, you get to the level of success that you want to get to. The curriculum and the program that our students get when they join. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap it up here. Final questions inside of chat. Let me know. Right now, I'm trading my Roth, and my Roth is with Interactive Brokers. So the Vault, that's going to be where we host our video trainings inside of the platform, right? So Alpha University is a platform as well as a program. So Alpha University, we put together a software that consists of our chat rooms, our live sessions, our courses, our trainings. We have a lot of trading tools as well, like charting capabilities. But yeah, it's a piece of software that we developed. That's where we host our community. That's called Alpha University. And then our curriculum, our program is the Alpha University program. But the Vault is where we edit and upload everything that we do inside of the community, like our live sessions, our trainings, our lessons that we do, Q&A sessions, quick hit lessons, live stream replays, everything that we do during the live stream, we completely strip everything out that's of value. We get it edited and then we upload it inside of the training vaults. So you guys can go back and watch again, learn from the sessions. I am not sure when we will have a trial offer again, right? We launched an offer end of last month for the trial, and then the other one was back in June. So we did one middle of June. We had a good turnout. We did one late July. We noticed a lot of people not taking it serious. And we noticed a lot of like spam in the community, and that's not what we're all about. So we decided to hold off on the trials because number one, people were taking advantage of the system, renewing for trials. And then, a lot of, people coming in and spamming or just people not really taking it serious in the first place. We did like 100 trials and only 5 of the 100 people actually logged in to take the initiative. And it's like, it costs money as a business to onboard every new client we bring on. And the simple fact that we saw no one take advantage of it and take it serious while they were in, we decided that it just doesn't make sense to offer a trial less frequently. So to answer your question straight up, I have no idea when the next trial is going to be. But if you want to get some free training, go over to YouTube, type in Alpha Day Trading, scroll down to the options playlist and check out some of the option lessons that we have on, or some of the lessons we have on options. The only thing I can say is if you attend our Friday sessions on YouTube, Free Stream Friday, you attend our sessions here on TikTok, just being here, listening, giving me the chance to answer your questions and help, that right there should be enough, and it has been enough to see if it's a good fit without having to necessarily, get in on a trial or come into the platform or anything like that. If you should have enough that happens during these TikTok lives and then YouTube Free Stream Fridays and receive enough value and help and, education from me having the opportunity to assist you and help you for you to see if it's a good fit or not. But I will definitely let you know when we have another trial for sure. Tyler, yes. Yep. Over on the website. Then again, here inside of the platform, anytime someone posts up a verified profit, right, where they have verified profits and then images as well to back up those profits, right from their broker, what we do is we come in and we add them to the trader of the day list for those that come in that make the biggest return or the traders that we notice are hitting milestones, right? So like Jose yesterday locked in 960 of verified profits. Joe the day before 220. Catherine locked in $15,000 verified profits on Meta. Absolutely amazing. We had Anita, 565. Jose made 488%, right? So we come through and we highlight our top traders of the day, and we are fully transparent as well. So all of my live trades are done over the live stream. I post up my profits at the end of the day. I post up my losses, and we have traders come in, post up their P&L as well. So if I have a red day, I post my red day. If I have a green day, I post my green day. Fully transparent across the board, and everybody inside of chat, they do that as well. They'll post up verified profits right from their broker. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there is a proven track record of success, and we are probably one of the most transparent communities when it comes down to, profits and losses and making sure that it's just, again, completely transparent, regardless of a green day, regardless of a red day. And then anything else is located on the website. Tips and tricks, call you. Do I have your numbers? Shoot me a DM then. Tips and tricks. Shoot me a DM if you don't mind here on TikTok. Drop your cell, and then I'll give you a ring. I'll give you a call if you have any questions. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. All right, we're going to wrap it up. If you guys are interested in learning more and you guys want to join, go to alphadaytrading.com. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, josh@alphadaytrading.com, or just go ahead and send me a DM on TikTok. We can schedule a time. If you have questions, jump on a quick call, make sure we answer those questions and really make sure that it makes sense. You're a good fit. But if you're like, dude, I love the session today, been watching you for a while, I want to take the next step and actually start to learn how to be a better trader, just go to alphadaytrading.com. Click on the memberships tab, check out everything there is within Alpha University, within the program, the courses, the tools, the training sessions, the live streams. Again, it gives you a very, very detailed breakdown. So you should be able to basically make a well-informed decision, after reviewing everything over on the website, right? So go check it out. You guys can join right away, right? Just go ahead and select what program you want to be a part of and, make it happen. But again, if you guys do have questions, you can shoot me a DM on TikTok. You can, shoot me an email. And my email is josh@alphadaytrading.com. And I'm always more than happy to help you guys out. All right. But other than that, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up, right? Inside of chat, good job today. Good work. We had some good profits inside of Profit Chat. You had Steve locking in $500 on a couple halts. You got Sizzler, Mr. Anthony locking in about 188 on his small account. You got Catherine, 8,600. You got out of the gate SPY trade, 1,000 buckarooskies there. So good job, traders. Good work. And if you didn't really trade today like me and you didn't really make any money, lose any money, you were more or less flat, just, a sideline trader, it's okay. There's nothing to be posting up today. I'll still get my my small loss on Boeing posted up on that trade there. And yeah, man, today was just one of those days that if you didn't trade, it's all good, right? You didn't really miss out on a whole lot of opportunity. Like, were there good trades? Yes, but for the most part, the first hour was overall just choppy. And so that really just kind of set the tone for me. And I'm like, I don't really feel like trading at all. And yeah, that's that. I mean, we could still have a trade here on the SPY, 436.25. If we hit that level, I will take put contracts, just so you guys know. And we'll go from there. I still think that's a great area that the SPY can hit, get rejected, and start to fade and fall here a little bit over lunch hours, right? But I will size down on that trade just because it is coming into lunch hours. All right. So that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a blessed weekend. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys back here bright and early, Money Monday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. at the start of pre-market. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a blessed weekend, guys. I'll see you back here Money Monday morning. Let's end it with a big ol' Alpha Day trading. 3, 2, 1. Woo! And that's a wrap. Good job today. Good work. Trade smart, trade safe, guys. I'll see you back here Money Monday morning, once again at 7 a.m. Until then, take care, and I'll see you guys then. Peace out. Love you guys. Have a good one on the tube as well. Take care. And if you guys have any questions, email me again. Shoot me a DM over on TikTok. I'm always happy to help. Other than that, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you back here for Free Stream Friday, next Friday at 8:45. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And hopefully you guys moved the needle. You learned something. Maybe you made some money. But overall, hopefully you got some value out of the session. So take care, guys. I'll see you next Friday.